If I saw another day, only to scream into the night. Nothing ever tries to change, even if I want to realize. 'Cause I've been sitting here, same old ways, taking off without the same mistake. Darling, will you go away? It won't be as simple for you. Time won't change anything if I don't know how to breathe. The current that pushed against the tide. Maybe once, maybe twice, turned around to save the time. Now I know how to leave the side. If I saw another day, only to scream into the night. Nothing ever tries to change, even if I want to realize. 'Cause I've been sitting here, same old ways, taking off without the same mistake. Can I leave it all behind? Follow all the leading signs. When the dark is growing and the light is closing in, darling, where you going? It won't be as simple for you.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. It's bussin', as the Zoomers say these days. I hope that wasn't too cringe, Smacks. We might have just killed all of our younger audience there. I know they probably tuning off like, who's this boomer using our lingo? But as we said before, good afternoon. This is the Play versus Spring 21 High School Championship. Me and my boy Smacks. I'm Rafa. We're going to be casting some good old-fashioned League of Legends, but we've got two exciting teams for us today, Smacks. And, we were taking a look over the sheet, and we actually got some quick update and intel from our production team as well about them.
Yeah, hello everyone. My name is Smacks. I'm here with Rafa for the event here for Play Versus, and yeah, on those teams that we got here today, we just got a little birdie in our ear told us that we have the defending champions today, the Stanton Blue Devils. They're here to defend their title, which is super exciting to see. They were the fall 2020 champions. So yeah, we get to see how the champions can defend that for themselves, and they're going to be up against Jerry Do Gaming, who are a team that are a ragtag group of players who have yet to meet their coach. Actually, they got to put all of this together just in the nick of time to play with us today on the stream.
Yeah, if our intel is correct here, Smacks, we actually this team was put together, in the midst of COVID, and so while everyone is in quarantine, and they missed the first few weeks of the actual championship going into this, as we are currently in the later half, almost entering the playoffs rounds here for the championship, and they're still undefeated. They have not dropped a single set at all. In fact, going through the regular season, it seems like so far 15 games total that they've won, no losses.
It's looking really good for them, and for this this sort of Cinderella run as well. They will now have to play up against those defending champions, see if they can compete with the top of the table here. But yeah, I mean, you got to feel for these guys. Just like you said, they played for the first time through COVID when all of that was going on. And it's really hard to connect with people during that time. I know most of my stuff was just online. I didn't get to see any of my friends in person for so long. So I know, man. You know what, Mark? One day we'll reprimand, or we'll repair that. We'll have to hang out one day.
I mean, I just visited Minnesota this past weekend. If I had more time, I could have done a hop, skip, and jump all over to Chicago, Michigan, hit you and Cubby up, but that'll be it for another time, Smacks. Yeah. Well, Lansing, not too far away, but we should be getting into games soon, ladies and gentlemen. We're just waiting on the last couple of checks and clears from the players who are currently in the lobby. Just making sure that all the specs, all the gear is up to date and just working. But as we're, getting ready for this match between Jerry Do Gaming and Stanton Blue Devils here, Smacks, one of the things that we want to focus on, especially throughout the course of the broadcast for the Play versus High School Championship, is we want to focus especially for not only for, the youngsters that are watching their fellow teammates and fellow competition play out these matches, but also the parents at home, because I imagine that they're probably interested in seeing what their kids are doing these days.
Yeah, and this is definitely a fun thing for any parent to see their kid doing. I know back when the game was very young, I was in the shoes of these players. My mom would always get mad at me. Pause your game, come play, or come hang out.
I can't pause, Mom. I can't just save.
Yeah, it's an online game. It all goes by. You have to play it all in a row. They've made it a lot shorter since back then in about 2012 when I was in high school playing, so that's a lot nicer. The games were like 40 plus minutes back then. They're a lot shorter now, which is great. And it's a really fun way to just express some teamwork and just fundamentals through that. It's very similar to something like a sport in that regard. Of course, it's not physically demanding except for your fingers, but it is very similar to that, where you're playing on a team, you're just going through and playing out your matches. It's a really fun experience, and I'm glad that high school kids today get to do that with video games of all things here too.
Yeah, I mean, the physical demands, like you said, nowhere near traditional sports, but the mental taxation and the endurance that it does require, and the focus and the concentration, and also the communication skills and the teamwork skills that are required to compete at the highest level are just as demanding as traditional sports. Because there's this game has evolved past the point where a single player can just take over the game, and everyone else could be DC'd or AFK or disconnected from the game, and that player could still just 1v5. That doesn't exist anymore. So it's no longer Season 3 Smacks. Now, even if you're doing super well in your lane, in your individual matchup, you need to make sure that you're on the same page and you're coordinating with your other 4 teammates to make sure that you all, as a 5-man unit, can cohesively work together to win the game. And there's a lot of objectives that are very important to winning the game. And I know for new-time viewers or any parents watching, it can be kind of a confusing Jackson Pollock of a mess here watching on the broadcast, but we're going to do our best to guide you through step by step.
Yep, and for all those people out there who are saying, you know what, Rafa and Smacks, I already know all that stuff. I'm an expert at League. That's okay. We'll have some stuff for you as well. But we really want to highlight the teamwork aspect of this game, because honestly, that is one of the reasons why this game is still a thing after existing for about 11 years so far. It's in its 11th year of being a very successful esport worldwide, which is honestly rather unprecedented. The other games that have done things like that are like StarCraft and World of Warcraft and things along those lines. But it definitely feels like this game is sort of outliving that, which is awesome. It's a lot of, in part, because of that teamwork aspect to it. It's a 5-on-5 game. You're all shooting for the same goal. You want to make sure that you're lined up with your team and doing everything together, which is really cool.
Yeah. And when we're looking at like traditional sports that could potentially compare League of Legends to, the closest that we can potentially say is basketball, or even soccer, or football for any international fans out there, because each of the 5 roles in League of Legends is distinct and unique in its purpose, and it is not like the other positions. The same thing in basketball. You have your point guard, you have your defense. Soccer, you have your forwards, your mids, your defenders, and your goalkeeper as well. Same thing with League. We got top lane, jungle, mid, bottom lane, and support. So in each of those roles, as we get into the games, you'll be able to see them unfold, kind of have unique traits and purposes and utilities that they bring to making that 5-man unit work together. But another thing that we have to also look at, Smacks, is as we're getting ready for this first match of the game, is how well these high school kids, especially since we are in a quarantine environment, how well they're able to communicate with each other in a remote setting.
Yeah, luckily we've got things like Discord, so you can talk online for that. But yeah, it's really important to make sure that everyone is on the same page and make sure that everyone is shooting for that same goal. Because like you said, Rafa, there are 5 different roles that you need to fulfill and you need to play differently within the game. But at the same time, you are all shooting for the same goal, which is taking down the structures, taking down the enemy champions, taking down the dragon. You got a bunch of stuff that's available for you to kill and go take down and capture for your team. So you have to coordinate very well with your squad, and that's something that is true of every single tier of gameplay as well for this game. Also, all the while this tournament is running, we're seeing things like the mid-season invitational at the international stage, where you're seeing the best teams in the entire world doing the exact same stuff. And even for them, the most important thing is talking to your team and making sure that things go smoothly from there. So that's why we're giving such a big emphasis on that right now today.
Yeah, and we're going to see that exemplified in today's games. As I believe we just got word from our production, we are ready to go ahead with the first draft of the set between... Never mind. We are not going to draft. We do need to take a quick 5-minute break just to get everything set up, some technical difficulties, but don't worry, folks. We'll be right back.
I saw another day, only to scream into the night. Nothing ever tries to change, even if I want to realize. 'Cause I've been sitting here, same old ways, taking off without the same mistake. Darling, will you go away? It won't be as simple for you.
Well, once you look at that, Smacks, 5 minutes passed so by, it didn't even feel like 5 minutes. Incredible. So, told you we would be back, ladies and gentlemen. We are going to be getting into draft for game 1. All the players have been filled into the lobby. It looks like everything is under control. Now, Smacks, I know we just had a big patch change.
Yes.
On 11.10. It just dropped today. And even though, the Zoomers probably did get some games in before their match today, I'm curious to see if that will really affect how these teams will be playing, or if they're just going to be sticking to comfort, even if it's from older patches here.
Yeah, the new patch is something that I haven't actually gotten to play on yet because, like you said, it's dropped within the last 24 hours or so. But I'm going to be doing that later on today. It does look like these teams are really looking to attack the jungle roles. As you can see, Rengar, Rumble, and Diana are already taken away. And jungle is one of the biggest changes that did come through for the new patch. They've changed up how Smite works, which is the summoner spell that all junglers take. So that's going to obviously change everything up. They've also changed how the experience works. So your jungler is going to have a little bit less experience unless they're really far behind. Then they're actually getting more experience to keep themselves balanced out with the rest of the game.
Yeah, straight up. I almost feel like we're playing Wild Rift because Kha'Zix and Rengar are kind of OP on the mobile version right now. But I guess depending on if they are targeting Mr. or I should say Sadka's GM, the jungler for Jerry Do Gaming. But hey, Lee Sin is still available. Now, this is a powerful flex pick. We don't know who is going to be piloting this champion so far, but a powerful fighter, very strong in the early game, can have a decent mid-game stride as well. And we're kind of flying through pick and ban phase right now, Smacks, because Senna being locked in for Stanton Blue Devils, Varus for Jerry Duke Gaming. So far, some decent long range coming in for both of these teams.
I like the Varus pick against Senna quite a lot. Like you said, you do have a lot of extra long range poke because Varus is such a massive range with his Q. You also get to lower the healing on Senna when you land your hail of arrows. So you have like that zone where anyone who steps in it does have grievous wounds on them. So I like that as a response as well to the Senna. We still don't know what this Senna's role is going to be. Could be that it's just a support Senna, or it's actually farming in the lane. But with these recent champions being locked in, I have a feeling that it's actually going to be Senna and Cho'Gath in the bottom lane, which is a really cool pairing down there where Cho'Gath can just eat all the minions to his heart's delight, and then Senna can heal him up from that.
It's cool that we come from the semi-professional scene with North American Proving Grounds, and we got to see the early experiments of Senna Cho'Gath on a couple of other teams that we know. So cool to see potentially Stanton Blue Devils play around with that possibility. Although, there's still flex options. Cho'Gath could potentially still be sent in either the top lane role or the mid lane role. I don't know if it would be in the jungle role, but with the jungle changes, maybe Jesse Main could be someone that tries to experiment with it. We also have the Shen in the works, and Shen did get a massive buff with the HP additional scaling on his ultimate. So now Jerry Do Gaming looking to target out potentially some mid lane blind picks. More than likely, I imagine they are going to be trying to set up Dennis for a counter pick if Lee Sin is not his already blind pick of choice.
Yeah, Lee Sin, it could still be the mid laner, like you said. That's one of the coolest things about Lee Sin as a champion right now is that you can send him mid, top, or jungle. All of them are perfectly serviceable, and with the new jungle changes too, it might just be the case that Lee Sin is back in his hometown in the jungle, where he doesn't really need the extra experience to go and kill you. You just land his Q, hit it with the resonating strike, and then all of a sudden you've taken 60% of your HP and you're just dead. So I'm excited to see if that champion actually does come through in the jungle. Like you said, though, Rafa, some mid laners are being taken off the board. We're assuming that most of the mid lane is still just completely wide open. It could still be Lee Sin, could be the Cho'Gath, like you said, too, but it's not going to be Orianna, Victor, or Echo.
Morgana being hovered right now, knowing that Rel is more than likely going to the support role, Smacks. I don't think we're going to be seeing any Rel mids today. I think that dream died a long time ago. But with Morgana being picked up here, could be the jungle pick. We know how powerful Morgana has been, especially for any competitive LoL fans. Been keeping up with MSI, how powerful Morgana jungle has been wrecking havoc over in Iceland, in Reykjavik. But for Sand and Blue Devils now, question is, what is their answer? Trundle being picked up here. Very cool.
That is very cool. This is one of the champions that doesn't really care too much about Black Shield, which is the utility that Morgana provides. You can just drop the pillar around wherever you're trying to run, and Black Shield doesn't let you walk through it, so you can just really stifle all of that. It also can be very useful at stopping a Rel engage if you time it very well and deny her jump in. So the pillar can be really useful here. Usually this champion isn't picked too often because it doesn't have a lot of damage, but there is still a lot of damage built into the Blue Devils composition here. The Senna is looking like it's going to be the AD carry in this game. The Cho'Gath is going to be down there as well, getting a lot of gold. And now we see that Ahri has been locked in for the mid laner too, but Ahri might have some trouble with this Kassadin here for Dennis.
Ooh. Oh, baby, Smacks. And check this out. Like, when you look at the amount of physical damage that is on Stanton Blue Devils, it's really up to Cody Dunn, who I am assuming will be piloting the Senna this time around for Stanton. And if Senna can't get to that late game standpoint, I mean, Kassadin is just going to be Rift walking all over. And Kassadin in this matchup against Ahri, apart from the true damage on the Orb of Deception, this is a pretty, I would imagine, a easy laning phase for Dennis to get through.
Yeah, I like this Kassadin pick a lot. It is looking very menacing. It doesn't appear to be that this is going to be an Ignite Kassadin, which has a lot of kill threat in that lane. It looks like it is still going to be Teleport, but yeah, that is a ruthless lane to go up against. And then later on into the game as well, Kassadin is just kind of one of those champions where you're waiting until he hits level 16. And if that happens, Kassadin usually just wins the game from there because his rank 3 ultimate is just so powerful. The cooldown of Rift Walk becomes so low, he can just use it wherever he wants. And he quite literally becomes the Rift Walker. He just goes wherever he wants. So I'm really excited to maybe get to that late game point. But honestly, this Kassadin looks pretty strong. He might not even need level 16. It is a really good pick here.
And the cool thing for this composition from JerryDo Gaming is that normally we've seen a lot of Kassadins being picked in the past, but there was no early game agency or early game bridges from the rest of the composition or the lanes that helps the Kassadin kind of say, hey, you know what, you can take a back foot in the first 15-20 minutes of the game while you're farming up and you're powering up. If you find any opportunities to roam, you can of course take those, but don't worry about trying to make an impact. We're going to keep the game stabilized until you get there. And that's what JerryDo have. You got a Lee Sin in the top lane, by far one of the best laners so far in the game. You have Morgana jungle. Even though we're in a new jungle world, Morgana will still be powerful in her own right, being able to just blaze through the jungle in terms of clear speed and still providing powerful utility. And then you also have Varus Rel, which, you know, Smacks coming from the bottom lane, you're a support expert yourself. That's a powerful lane to be able to fight against Senna Cho'Gath early on.
Yeah, the Rel can be really tricky to deal with when you have all of that engage potential, and both Senna and Cho'Gath are relatively immobile. You do have some defensive mechanisms, of course. You got some crowd control if you land the Senna snare. The Cho'Gath rupture knockup as well can be really useful, but sometimes it is a little bit too late. When Rel is already stunning you, knocking you up, bringing you toward the Varus, it's not looking very great for you at that point. So yeah, the Varus Senna matchup is already pretty good for Varus, but it is going to be on the Senna player to actually land those souls, get the sustain out as well, and make sure that Cho'Gath can survive this lane. So then later on, you actually do have a front line who doesn't just instantly die to Kassadin and Varus, especially if he's going poke Varus too. So it's sort of a race against the clock, but at the same time, you want to get some pressure down in that bottom lane too here. So maybe this is where the Trundle kicks in.
You know, looking at that Trundle and the rest of this Stand Blue Devil squad, like we said at the top of the show, this is the reigning champions coming from the Fall 20 or 2020 Play versus High School Championship. They got to defend their title, Smacks. It's all about glory and making sure that they get knocked out by these newcomers here in Jerry Do Gaming. Looking at this Trundle and how you're supposed to coordinate with the rest of your team, Trundle, in terms of ganking, I mean, Pillar can be very powerful against champions that don't have strong mobility. So you can be looking at that Varus, especially if the flash is down, then you put the Pillar down. It's very hard for him to be able to get out of that situation, right? But when you're looking at top lane, Lee Sin's got so much mobility, Smacks. I don't even know if top lane is even worth visiting.
Probably not. Probably not at all. Lee Sin is just super hard to manage in that early game. We were talking about how devastating it can be in the jungle position early. He's going to have to make sure that still stands in the top lane too. Likely with the E build, so he has the extra AoE wave clear up there as well, just to make sure he gets the minion priority all the time. So when you have all that extra magic damage as well, it's hard to itemize against him too. You can't go armor, you can't go magic resist. It's just very, very sad. But the biggest thing here is that you can attack the Varus. He's not very mobile. You can also attack Kassadin before he hits level 16, or level 6 rather, because then he doesn't have his ultimate at all. So then he just has his flash. You get rid of the flash, Kassadin is very tricky to operate in that early game until he hits level 6. So there are definitely still some ways to work, but yeah, Trundle is still a difficult champion to make ganks on in that early game because he really only has that Pillar.
And one of the biggest utilities that Trundle does offer is his ultimate ability, which is Subjugate, and allows him to sap a bunch of armor and MR and also HP or health from whatever member he chooses. That's very powerful against tanks, but the tankiest member from Jerry Do Gaming is actually a support. And supports, while you can sap their stats and that's going to be nice, it doesn't feel as effective because you're not sapping a giant tank. You're actually just dealing with 4 damage carries, but we're going to have to see what Jesse Main decides to do with this Trundle as we are on the Rift for Game 1, ladies and gentlemen, and all man Smacks. A beautiful sight, a new world, and just as I say that, I may have jinxed it, Smacks. May have jinxed it.
Maybe just a little bit. I do believe we're getting right back into it, so
I think the game likes you better, Smacks. You should just talk for the rest of the game, and then we'll limit test this.
Oh, you know what? Maybe I will. Maybe I will, Rafa. We're getting into this one where we are seeing that Senna actually has gone for the Grasp of the Undying build, which provides Senna with the extra lane sustain, which is something that I wanted to see out of Senna. Also lets you become much more difficult to kill later on. Now, I don't know if that's going to save you from Dennis. If the game gets really late, you probably still get one shot, but this is still looking like the tank version of Senna, which, you know, it does provide an extra look to this team. It is going to be a little bit less damage, which I'm a little bit worried about over here for the Blue Devils. They don't have that much damage, Rafa.
I think you can also opt into a tankier build with this Grasp of the Undying. We've seen likes of, I think it's the Frostfire Gauntlet and Black Cleaver build. So you just apply slows. It's very obnoxious.
Yeah.
But, you know, for Dennis, if he has enough stats, I wonder if you can just cut through all the HP that Senna will be stacking. It'll be a fun limit test to see once we get to that point in the game, because I don't see a world where this game ends before the 25-minute mark. I imagine that this will be a long one. Uh-oh.
Oh,
Well, we just had a lot of things happen on screen, but an early gank from Jesse Main is going to catch Robitos by surprise. A flash there, and Jesse Main has the movement speed. Be able to run him down. It's first blood for Stanton Blue Devils. Looks like I'm a Cat is going to flash over the wall, but 2 flashes,
Wow.
and the follow-up Rupture from Hoodie ensures a double for Jesse.
well, that was incredible. What a gank from Trundle. This is really, really surprising based on what we said earlier, where Trundle can be very difficult to operate on these early ganks, but he made it work completely. The crouch control was enough for Cody Dunn and Hoodie to follow that one up super, super well. We're going to get a replay of it too. Just see that Rupture lands right away. From there on out, as Varus, it's just so tricky to get anything done right there. And I'm a Cat tries desperately to make that one work, but a dismounted Rel, all you can really do is run away at your 250 movement speed and then flash. So it's a double kill for Jesse. What a turnaround. And then all the while, sad because GM died to a jungle camp. That's not what you want to see.
Yeah, that's unlucky error. We'll fall behind on tempo as they finally just cleared. I think the red buff reset, and so they had to start on wolves. Finished up red, and now is starting their 3rd camp. Whereas Jesse Main, having pulled off the bottom lane gank, has now managed to come up to the top side of the map. It's going to be keeping just in line at the relatively same pace, and this is going to be surprising for Stanton Blue Devils. But Trundle is at the same clear speed as Morgana, so this kind of takes away a lot of the advantage that you would normally have picking up this champion.
Very true. Looks like Jesse was able to smite away the Scuttle Crab there too. Top lane though, we're seeing the strength of Shen and Lee Sin in the lane. Oh! Woo!
Oh, but Cryo Knight with the fast fingers gets the flash in and the auto attack before Andy has a chance to respond. But Jesse might be able to look for something here, but look at Cryo. This is why it's so hard to gank Lee Sin, but without flash and phase rush from Jesse, should have enough auto attacks to be able to get last killing blow down onto the Lee Sin, making sure that he doesn't get out before getting some vengeance back.
Nice bit of retribution there. Does deny a lot of minions top lane there too. You get a replay of this one. This 1v1 Shen and Lee Sin. The auto attacks are going crazy in this this 1v1, but then the E flash buffering that spell is a really nice use of the mechanics there from Cryo Knight. And you can't get away from Trundle in the frozen domain right there. Even as mobile as Lee Sin is, we talked about it in the draft, it's still just a little bit too tricky. This Trundle is stickier than we thought it was, Rafa.
I think the other thing we have to point out here is that Jesse's main's summoner spell, or not summoner spell, keystone of choice. You can see that tiny little icon next to Jesse Main's portrait. It is a little blue arrow feather thing. That's called Face Rush. And as soon as you get 3 attacks or abilities down, you get a bunch of movement speed. It's actually what allowed him to be able to get that killing blow onto Bobitos down into the bottom lane for first blood without having to use the flash. The fact that he was able to save flash for chasing Amakat over the wall, getting the double, just goes to show that even traditional keystones like the Conqueror or the Press the Attack, while it gives you a little bit more damage, the utility and just the straight up movement speed that you get in those skirmishes, very valuable.
Lots of movement speed on the Trundle, especially in the frozen domain. Just run around rampant as possible, as long as you get the damage down. But he hasn't had any trouble doing that so far. 3 kills for Jesse Main. And you can see the effect that it's had across the map here too. Huge CS lead in top lane for Andy. See that minion wave was just pushed in for Cody and Hoodie, so they've got some pressure to go around and Ward to try to find Sadka's GM. The only real place that it hasn't affected is the mid lane so far, and honestly, Rafa, this is the scariest part of the map for the Blue Devils. They do need to find some way to deal with this Kassadin, but got bad news. He just hit level 6. He has Riftwalk.
It just used flash as well. I'm not sure from what.
Oh.
She was looking for an all-in. Cryo is going to kick and punt Andy right back under the turret, and Sadka's GM is here for the gank. There's nowhere for Andy to go. It's a kill for Jerry Do Gaming, but there was a dragon picked up for Stanton Blue Devils. Gonna get the objective pressure on the map, and now Smacks. From that top lane gank, Sadka's GM could be... Look... What?
That was incredible. So Return to Buy actually landed that charm through the turret, as Dennis was just trying to play it safe, got a little bit greedy in that lane, just wanted to farm it out. Oh boy. Well,
Well,
you know what?
well.
The play was too good. He had to go cool off. He was getting a little too hyped.
Had a quick little pop-off moment as we're going to get a replay of this top side. You know, Smacks, one of the great things about Lee Sin, not only is a strong laner, but also has pretty decent gank setup. Not necessarily, you know, in terms of lockdown, but just being able to punt your laner right back into your turret gives a little bit more time for your jungler to come into the gank. But walk me through this one, Smacks.
So, yeah, just as you can see, he lands the charm under that turret. Actually didn't need to flash, but overestimated his own damage in the mid lane right there for return. But that's the kind of play that you need to make to shut down this Kassadin, and we are seeing kills across the board for the Blue Devils. This is very good news for them, but, you know, all the while, Saka's GM landed a really nice gank up at this top lane, and we've seen how devastating Lee Sin players can be at tournaments like MSI. This is no different here.
So far, power spikes on the items are not quite there. Just some item components have been completed, though. And when we're looking at the map and the state of the game, you don't have another objective on the map for a couple minutes. Rift Herald spawning in about 4 minutes. The Dragon in about 3.5. So now I'm curious, Smacks, because Andy is playing Shen. Does have to stand united. There could be some plays made potential on this mid side because Dennis, even though it has Riftwalk, still doesn't have Flash from before.
It's very true. All it would really take is one charm landing again. He would fall. It's a ton of crowd control right there on the side of the Blue Devils. Even from the bottom lane, too. You mentioned the global pressure of the Shen ultimate. There's global pressure in the bot lane, too. We have Senna ult that can be sent over there, or anywhere, really. So lots of stuff going around the rifts as we see the bottom lane is finally recalled from the Blue Devils side. We're seeing a full AP build, or the starts of one, rather, for Cho'Gath. So we're seeing some damage
lit.
being built. I was worried about the damage before. This definitely helps.
You know what also helps is we're standing Blue Devils. Just landing a charm onto the Kassadin and making him take a face full of just absolute damage. Dennis, without the teleport, is going to have to take the recall. He's going to lose quite the substantial amount of gold and XP from that minion wave crashing into the turret.
It's getting a little bit sad for Dennis. Missing out on some more resources in the lanes, all just off of that earlier greed from staying in the lane when he was in range of the Ahri damage. Speaking of being in range of damage, we're seeing a 2v2 top lane. Nice route.
Finding lands from Sadka's GM. The Sonic Wave also lands. Jesse Main already talking to Subjugate, trying to get some stats back, but Stand United comes out. Cryo Knight answers back with the Dragon's Rage, punting Andy and Jesse back onto their side of the field. He's going to have to burn the flash to get out of harm's way as well, but quite the skirmish there in the top side.
Cryo and Sad may have won that one without the Dawning Shadow, but Cody Dunn, quick with the trigger finger, sends that one up there and provides his duo in the top side with some extra shielding. I really like that extra play, but the top side is not done quite yet. Sad is back.
Andy's going to pop the Twilight Shroud, tries to buy some time. Sadka's GM wants to land this Dark Binding, but there's quite a few minions in the way, and Jesse makes the counter gank possible. Phase Rush is there, Flash comes out, but the Flash follow-up is enough from Andy and Jesse being able to turn around the 2v2.
There's just way too many minions right here. The Binding can't connect. Oh, Lee Sin has a lot of damage, though. Andy needs to be a bit careful up here. He just got those double buffs, does not want to lose them. Doesn't look like he's going to. It is just another robbery up here in this top side. We get another look at it. We're seeing that Lee Sin, you know, he does have quite a bit of this damage, but then his auto attacks can't connect thanks to the Shen W. The minions are just... They're just ruining Sadka's GM's day right here. Doesn't even try to throw out the Q until right now, but it's flashed on. And there's nothing that Cryo can do. They already used their ultimate on the first attempt, and Andy, it turns out, is a lot more durable than they otherwise expected.
You know what I also like seeing, Smacks? Oh, meanwhile, I guess there was a dive on the bottom side of the map, but Andy going for the dive. Potentially onto Cryo Knight as well. Both sub 200 HP.
Oh boy.
Jesse
Jesse's
is
again.
here. What? We're just
Oh.
flash subjugating?
He's dead.
Huh.
He didn't have ults.
I see.
It was close to coming back up, but no ultimate there. Not quite enough damage. Oh man. Well, Cryo is still he still wants the kill. He's still here. He has Dragon's Rage, so oh boy, wait, the taunt.
Taunt lands. Kick out of the Twilight Shroud.
Oh!
Dash to a minion, and boom, baby. Cryo Knight. Lee Sin. That's 101 right there.
I told you this champion is nuts, man. You cannot underestimate how much damage it has. The Dragon's Rage kick cooldown is tremendously short as well. So Andy Main does get taken down. He loses the double buffs. We're getting a lot of instances where the recall button may be bigger resources than they're giving it credit.
Yeah,
Kelly
I'm still kind of scratching my head over the events that transpired top lane, but for JaredU Gaming, you love to see it. You'll take freebies like that. Anything to get yourself back into the game, as they are still currently about just under 2,000 gold in deficit. They were able to pick up the second dragon of the game, but this is going to be an Ocean Soul game here, Smack. So, to the victor go the spoils of extra HP and mana regeneration, as I'm a cat. Oh, beautiful pillar from Jesse Main. I know you've been pulling in some Trundle practice. Well timed.
Yeah, that's the kind of interrupt that I was referring to earlier. Jesse Main showing it off right there beautifully. And I'm a cat. You got to be more careful than that when you're seeing the Trundle right there. He still has pillar available, can deny that engage. Would have gone down pretty quickly had he not flashed away. Also, I do want to add, there have been a lot of kills in this bot side, and all of them have been for the Blue Devils alone in this isolation here. Hoodie and Cody Dunn were able to land a beautiful dive earlier. They killed I'm a Cat. While we were watching all the hilarity that was topside, I do not blame anyone for showing us that one. That was pretty beautiful. Thank you to our observers, but we did miss out on that play bot, and I do want to highlight that one yet again, because the Blue Devils are really making things work in all of these lanes at the same time. All of them have shed blood for them. Jesse Main's here to try to make it happen top lane again.
Rift Herald being expended for some turret plates. Goes over the way to Cryo Knight. And now the next objective of Focus Max, I would imagine, is going to take place in about 2.5 minutes. We haven't really seen a full-on skirmish, and Battle for the Dragon has usually been traded for objectives. Oh,
Whoa.
you got to be careful, Rubidos.
Yeah, there's just so much sustain down here, but Dennis is trying to make sure that that does not remain true. Has to Riftwalk out. Yeah, this is just a huge brick wall in their face that the Blue Devils have put up here with the Senna Cho'Gath. This lane is just so durable. They can't be brought down at all. I mentioned earlier that the Grievous Wounds is really good from Varus, but there's still healing there. You still do heal for 60% of it, and there's just not that same level of healing and sustain on the side of JaredU, so they have to be pushed off yet again. And when you're a ranged champion and you're keeping up in CS with Cho'Gath, who is very melee, it's not exactly what you're looking for in this early.
Yeah, it's also not constant, the Grievous Wounds, right? Because it's cooldown dependent, and you can't just spam E to try and keep down Cody Dunn and Hoodie in this lane, especially
Right.
when Cho'Gath's sustain is tied to just CSing. Anytime he's able to kill one of these minions, he gets a little bit of HP and mana back, combined with Senna's natural sustain off of just being able to find piercing shadows or the Qs through the minions, as well as Cho'Gath. This is, said it, it's a tough lane to crack.
The top side has been a little bit more favorable for JerryDo, though. We're seeing the mythic items completed now. The Gore Drinker for Cryo and the Liandry's Torment, Anguish rather. Changed the name of it, my mistake. For Sad, because GM. And that's going to provide them with a lot of extra damage. They've been thinking about going for some of these dragons. You can see that it is 1 dragon apiece. The most recent one was picked up by JerryDo, so can maybe translate that topside pressure into something across the map. But right now, the added additional threat of this Ahri from Return has just been really nice. That's a full first turret taken pretty much alone.
I don't think we ever saw any gank pressure towards that mid lane. It's
No.
solely just been laning prowess from Return. Well done for him. Or them, I should be. Just in case. Standing Blue Devils. Now getting ready to answer on this 3rd dragon spawn. It is the first ocean dragon of the game. Very valuable to both teams as you want to start ramping up these ocean dragon stacks. Get that extra HP and mana regeneration. We're already seeing a little bit of crowd control abilities being thrown out as they fight for vision here.
I think we're going to get a brawl here, Rafa. Hoodie's going in.
Rupture misses, but the charm doesn't. I'm a cat's down. Dawning Shadow goes through all 5 members, but Jesse Mayne actually gets eviscerated here. Looks like Andy Mayne tried to use the Sand United, but Jesse went down so fast. Another beautiful Rupture, though, from Hoodie. Lands on a Sad because GM Flash comes out. He's going to try to run away, get the heck out of there. Cody Dunn trying to keep tail and pursuit. Now the rest of the members. This is very bold, though, Smacks, because they don't have a jungler. Cryo Knight is going to go back in, looking for the re-engage. Buys a lot of time, and with the Gore Drinkers able to sustain through it all, even the Ignite taking down finally goes down and bites the dust here, but it's enough for JerryDo Gaming to take away the dragon.
Ooh, the initial play was pretty clutch there from the Blue Devils. Hoodie's zone control and crowd control as well was really nice with those returned ruptures just every single time. We get to start it off with this replay. That first one lands onto I'm a Cat. He's got the next one as well here. It's just so threatening. You can't go anywhere in this at all. And the opening display was just beautifully done. It is still a 4v3 right now because the Shen Stand United was canceled out. But then, again, there's another Rupture onto these guys. Sad because GM has to flash away, almost gets snared up by Cody. But from here on out, Cody's not in the pit. He has to jump over right there. And then the single target damage is just super well layered here from the side of JerryDo. It cleans them up the fight. It gets them more gold and experience onto Kassadin and even secures that 3rd dragon of the game. This is a really well done re-engage to the fight, which is not very easy to do.
Huge advantage and momentum swing for JerryDo Gaming. They're still technically behind in overall gold, but especially when the likes of Dennis is able to pick up a kill in that skirmish, in that brawl, going to help expedite and accelerate the scaling process that we all know and fear Kassadin can be.
I'm shaking in my boots right now, Rafa. This Kassadin.
You have boots?
I declined to answer that. But, you know, I am still shaking.
Okay.
The reason I decline is because I am not wearing anything on my feet, but I am told that you shouldn't give those out for free, so I'm not going to get that information.
I mean, I'm barefoot too, but, you know, we're in our house, so I think that's completely fine. I'm not wearing shoes or anything to dirty up the carpets, you know.
Well, that's
Too hot
very,
for
very
socks,
nice
man.
and tidy of you.
Well, Bovitos just going to get locked down here. No way out. Flash can come out, but Jesse Mayne has the phase rush for the movement speed. Locks him down. I'm a Cat. Can he flash over the wall? But double flash. I don't know if 2 flashes was necessary, but you know what? They sent the message, and it's a double for Jesse.
Andy Mayne also dying off in the top side as well, so it is bloodshed across the board right now. But yeah, those kills onto the bottom lane here for the Blue Devils is really, really beneficial. They are both going into Jesse main yet again. This is a 6-kill Trundle, so he's got a lot of resources. He's building for a lot of damage here too, so maybe he can use that to benefit those team fights very well. But yeah, he's very fed. Oh
no! Oh no! Good night, return.
Man, Sadka's GM sitting out in that bush, so stealthy, so sneaky. Finds the play.
It's the Elise strat, man. Yeah. I mean, you do the similar thing. In some ways, I think of Morgana as like a more utility-focused Elise, just not as much raw power. But then again, Dark Binding and Tormented Soil do a lot of damage. And yeah, Andy, we don't really need to go through that one. He was just a little out of bounds there.
Yeah. It's tough. It's tough to try to go for these side lane plays on Shen when you have to deal with the extra burst damage of the Morgana in the back pocket. So you can play made in this bot side on the replay as well. The root lands onto Dennis. I don't believe that ended in a kill, but that was still just more pressure across the map. You can see that we have entered a sort of split map state where Sadka's GM and Cryomed are continuing to flex their muscles up there. And the same is said in the bottom side for the Blue Devils.
Smacks, over under. Jesse completes their tier 2 boots. Too late.
I'm gonna say 20 minutes is when it happens, actually.
What? Okay, but that's cheating. You just... Man.
You shouldn't have asked me a question where I could cheat so easily.
Well, I was expecting you to be faster on it. Like...
I was pretty fast. He was just a little faster.
Yeah. Well, that's why he's playing and you're the one commentating.
Very true, very true. I do on that subject. I do want to add, I do cast a lot of League of Legends. Nice flex, Max. I'm like pretty okay at this game. There are some players in this game who are a lot better than me, and I do this like for my job. And these players are like significantly better than me at the game. So I just want to, if you're a parent out there and you're listening, I'm here to tell you right now that your kids are very good at the game. They're playing this game very, very well right now. Just want to throw that out there.
That way, if you ever feel concerned about how much time they're spending, don't worry. It's not like they play it, you know, a few hours of the day like I do. I'm still bad at it, you know. That's why I've been relegated to commentary jail. But but the players are doing a great job so far on the Rift. And when you mentioned that Jesse main actually going for more of a damage-oriented build, this Stridebreaker is super cool. It just makes Trundle even stickier than before. Because Trundle always kind of suffered from the lack of true mobility. Frozen Domain gave him a lot of movement speed, but before Phase Rush, and obviously before Stridebreaker as well, you didn't have that many gap-closing tools. But now, it just makes Trundle so oppressive to deal with, especially if you are someone like Varus, who, apart from the Chain of Corruptions, have no real way of disengaging from threats.
Be pretty tricky to operate against this Trundle build. Just as you mentioned, Varus is very immobile. If Kassadin doesn't have that level 16, then sometimes the Rift Walk isn't available all the time where you need it to be, so that champion can be pretty tricky. Even Morgana, when you don't have Black Shield. Morgana, she can keep you in one spot, but in doing so, she herself stays in one spot as well. So this Trundle, even though this is a utility champion, even though he's sort of been eating all of those kills, can still pull some weight, as the Blue Devils are still in a pretty big gold lead. We're in a pause, which is why you can see our faces instead of the screen right now.
Hello.
Hopefully we're going to be getting right back into the game pretty soon. Sort of the nature of online games. If something goes wrong, that's what the pause button's there for here for the tournament games.
Indeed.
Anyway. So
usually what happens with a pause is that a player is experiencing technical issues such as internet disconnections or maybe ping spikes where their connection is not as smooth, basically, and it tampers with their ability to perform at their best. So we want to make sure that everyone is not being competitively disadvantaged. I'm making up words, I know. You know, just trying to hopefully...
That was good. I think
Okay.
those words were playable in Scrabble.
Okay. I just don't know if in that order it was grammatically correct, but this is the point of the game though where we're past the 20-minute mark. We did say that more than likely teams weren't going to be able to, or these two teams were not going to be able to close out the game before the 25-minute mark, just because you have a sufficient amount or a significant amount of scaling on both teams. For Dennis, that Kassadin, and then for Santa Blue Devils, you do have Cody Dunn on the center.
Very true. And this game has been very close as well. There's been a lot of kills, which is pretty awesome. And yeah, the teams are still within an arm's length of each other. We're still not entirely sure who's going to be taking the first game of this series. It's best of 3 as well, so we get some more action after this one. This is quite the first series to experience here with you, Roth. I'm having a lot of fun. We get some high action in this one.
I should have made some tea before this game, because I do just want something to sip on as we're enjoying all the action unfurl out. But looks like the pause is no longer paused. Fourth dragon of the game is about to spawn in the next 10 seconds here, Smacks.
Getting right into that one. See the J2, or Jerry Do, excuse me, already stepped foot into the pit, trying to get some vision. It's Ocean Rift though, so that pesky pit brush is causing some troubles. They found Hoodie.
Uh-oh. Hoodie without a Senna. Does use the stopwatch, tries to buy some time. Cryo taking a lot of damage though on the backside. Hoodie does go down, gets eviscerated, but the rest of the members of Santa Blue Devils are looking to wipe up the floor and clean up the mess. Sadka's GM in a 1v3, not going to be long for this world. As Jerry Do Gaming, they found the Cho'Gath, but in response, they lose 4.
Nearly a full ace. This is completely opposite to what the last Drake fight was. The Blue Devils walk away with the advantage. They walk away with the Drake on top of it all. And this is off of Hoodie actually getting caught out as well. He's on this Cho'Gath. He is not going for the tank build, but this champion is still so difficult to take down. You can see that Rupture lands onto everyone. This Silence deals so much damage, especially to the Varus here. Bobitos, it's almost one shot, and then the Ignite comes through too. Andy flashes on him too. And everyone on the red side here is just completely routed after that as well. Sadka's GM can't do a whole lot after the ult is expended, after the flash is expended, and after his team is expended here too. Jerry Do get dropped as well, and they lose out on the mid turret also. Return of Vi has been so relentless with this turret taking pressure on Ahri.
Jerry Do Gaming thought that they had an opportunistic pick. Unfortunately for them, it was Hoodie that was pulling the wool over their eyes on that one, being able to turn it around. Dragons have been equalized for both teams. Cryo finding Andy. But at this point in the game, Andy is substantially tankier. So it is harder for Cryo to actually deal with Andy in this side lane. But Cryo should be able to sustain off the wave, as potentially he's going to pursue Andy. Going to back off. I wonder if he wants to get ready for a play on the cross side of the map.
Doesn't quite have his ultimate, but the teleport is here. So if there are any wards or minions or perhaps a single turret there to arrive to, he will be doing just that. The ultimate's not that long of a cooldown either, so it's going to be up relatively soon. We can see that Andy now has a Tiamat, so clearing out the minions is going to be a lot easier. Both he and Jesse have those, actually. They're twinning with the items. I like that.
Tiamat's a cool item, man.
Yeah.
Especially when you get it on a jungler like Trundle. It ramps up your clear speed. And normally when it comes to Trundle jungle, if you're getting a Tiamat, then you have to go full damage. You have to take a little bit more creative freedom in what kind of resources you're taxing from others, including your own camps, as other Trundle builds, you just go full utility. You probably just like rush a Locket, and then you're just budget. You are working on below minimum wage, I should say, Smacks, and you are there to provide pillars and subjugate.
And take turrets also. You can see a fourth one has just been taken by the Blue Devils in this game. They are upping the tempo of it, and I really like that idea, because again, Dennis, he's playing this Kassadin. He is almost level 16. 13 is pretty darn close. Only 3 more. That's how math works. I went to school just like these kids. They probably are doing much better than I did. But anyway. Anyway, Dennis is getting pretty close. He's scaling up on this Kassadin. You can see he's off in that side lane. Oh, 14 now. He's even closer. He's going to have that super-powered Rift Walk. And that's where Blue Devils are really going to be in a time crunch at that point. They need to make sure that Kassadin either dies or they just never see him at all, and they can just take the Nexus without him being attached to it at all.
I, too, would never like to see the oppression that is Kassadin on my screen. It would be nice if he just decided to AFK and disconnect from the game. But I don't think that's really on Dennis's agenda here, Smacks, especially since Jerry Do Gaming, they want to continue their undefeated streak. They want to make sure that they not only take down Stanton Blue Devils in ensuring their run, but also a lot to boast about and being able to say, hey, we took down the fall champions.
Yeah. The defending champions at that. They have come back to retake the throne. They're winning this game so far. They're at about a 4,000 gold lead. That is nothing to sneeze at. Still going to feel pretty good in these fights, but they are certainly running out of time. We're about to hit 27 minutes into this one. You can see the teams are now becoming keenly aware that the Baron is a possible threat, especially before that Drake comes back up. The next dragon in 55 seconds will be the one that leads the team to a soul point. And once you hit 4 of those dragons, you get a huge permanent buff to your team.
7,000 health on the Baron. Remember, they have Smite and Shogath Feast, so it's very difficult for Jerry Do Gaming to try and secure it, but Sadka's GM is going to throw that Tormented Soil. Shogath does have the Feast. Teleport is coming in. I'm a Cat trying to make the engagement. Magnet Storm will already fall at the hands of Stanton Blue Devils. Crown Knight trying to get a kick in there, looking for another re-engage opportunity, but I think this fight is going towards the way of the Blue Devils, and they're running down Jerry Do Gaming. Nowhere else to run. Sadka's GM already fallen by the wayside. Andy cleaning up Cryo Knight, and just like that, Smacks, you already said it before, the 3rd or the 5th dragon of the game also coming up in a few seconds. But I think Stanton Blue Devils saying, you know what, we have an opportunity to take an inhibitor, maybe more.
Ooh, yeah, they're going to march their way straight into the base. I'm a Cat's going to be up for this one, but the support Rel with no ultimate's just going to sit there and watch. Obidos actually killed Hoodie there with an arrow. That's rather shocking. I didn't actually see how that happened. There's a charm. Oh!
Okay, but Bobitos will fall to return and being able to capitalize the overaggression. Was able to pick out Hoodie, as you said. You know, full lethality bars against a somewhat squishy Hoodie, since this is the AP version. And not necessarily that difficult to take down, but lives being traded, ensuring that Stanton Blue Devils take down the inhibitor as well as their 3rd dragon of the game. They are now at soul point.
Yeah, they might not even need the soul to close this one out either. The Baron buff lasts for 3 whole minutes, so see if they use that opportunity to maybe close out the entire game. You can see that return was rooted up, but he's still able to stifle the engage of I'm a Cat before it even happens, and from there, everyone on Jerry Do is playing on the back foot. They've lost their biggest engage tool. The Baron's already down. They're on full retreat, but members of the Blue Devils are so sticky. We've already been talking about how sticky Trundle is for this entire game, but we got to see it full force right here. All right, let's see how Hoodie dies. He tanks the turret. Ah.
Oh.
One more. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. That's tough.
See.
Not quite the tanky Cho'Gath that he thought it was.
That's cold-blooded, man. But this is a nice capitalize, though, from Cody Dunt and Return. Once the Senate W lands, Vars has nowhere else to run. Return dashes in with the Spirit Rush, following up on the Everfrost route. Man, Everfrost, I know this item has been great for certain champions like Ari to come back into the meta, but it's just it's stupid, Smacks. I'll be straight up, man, because
Good item. We're seeing 3 of it in this game.
I know it is a good item, but it's pushed out other items, and it feels like if you don't go Everfrost, then you're just trolling.
Well, yeah, Everfrost is pretty good. We're definitely seeing some good uses of it in this game also. Which
I just like item
fun.
diversity, Smacks. I'm sorry.
I know. Well, Sakas GM didn't build it. I'd say that he's correct in not building it in this one.
Yeah. Leandra's Anguish is good because you like the CDR or the ability haste, as well as being able to deal with the beefier boys on Stanton Blue Devils with that extra damage against tankier targets.
They're going to have to deal with all of the members of the Blue Devils, though, in this one, because they are at a huge advantage in this one. They have this Baron. It's going to be up for another half a minute, so not too much more they can do with it, but still going to try to push in all of these lanes and steal away these jungle camps, too, which are usually property of the red jungler. Jesse and Cody are making sure that that is not the case, stealing away all those and getting a lot of souls in the process for Cody.
Stanton Blue Devils starting up the siege onto the bottom side of the map. Currently, Jesse is in the mid lane, just corralling minions into the inhibitor to ensure that the 6-man is doing their work, whereas the rest of the squad are pushing down on opposite lanes. At this point, Smacks, when you're looking at JerryDo Gaming, wave clear is usually the option or the answer into the siege push, but not necessarily the strongest wave clearers for JerryDo Gaming here.
Yeah, they've got Morgana Puddle, and that's about it. Not much else can be done at that point. Just watch the minions die very, very slowly, which worked on that last wave in the bottom lane, but they only have one Morgana, and there's another wave crashing up in this top side. Now it's up to Cryo to try to save the turret. Succeeding so far, but you can see that really what Blue Devils are trying to do is stall time, maybe get some turret damage in, and just sort of wait for the next objective to come up, which is actually Baron and Dragon at the same time.
Only a slight 10-20 second difference here, but if it's just another 2 minutes that Stanton Blue Devils are trying to buy, then they definitely could go at it for hours at this point. They have enough regen thanks to the 2 Ocean Dragons they've already picked up, and just slight chippings away, they've finally taken down the bottom inhibitor turret. Andy chipping away at the top inhibitor turret should be ready to fall, just as I say. And now JerryDo Gaming, they're running out of options here, Smacks. They can't just keep letting structures go by the wayside unless they are just willing to take on the risk that they have to contest for Ocean Soul and Baron with an open base.
And if any engage is going to come in, it is off of I'm a Cat with Flash, Rel, Magnet Storm. But seems like they're missing their window. The recalls are coming through, and they're just going to be setting up for the next Baron and the next Dragon. It's coming onto the Rift. Andy is becoming a little bit enticing for them, though.
Considering that Hoodie and Jesse had just recalled, he didn't have teleports in case things started to get frisky for JerryDo Gaming. I was curious that maybe if you wanted to take an opportunity, that could have been it right there. You would have had the numbers advantage. No way for Jesse or Hoodie to be able to rejoin the fight.
Red team's inhibitors respawning soon.
We'll never know, Smacks.
No, we will not. We will probably know who takes the Baron, though. We're going to be getting that one on the map in about 10 seconds. Hoodie has Feast yet again. This is an AP Cho'Gath Feast, so that thing is doing a lot of damage. Already got 3k health, too. This is a beastly man. And you can see he's about half the size of the Baron. That's how you know this Cho'Gath is big.
And this is an AP Cho'Gath as well, so normally, if you're a tank Cho'Gath, you're probably at 5,000 health with this many stacks and that kind of build, but considering that he's still this durable, this beefy, on a damage-oriented build, great. Oh, Andy, do they know? Oh, yeah, okay.
Oh.
Ocean, Oh wait, they're gonna go for the base end. JRD Gaming have denied the Ocean Soul, but there are empowered siege minions, Baron minions hitting on the Nexus turrets right now. The base has been exposed.
Oh.
They're gonna go for it. That's a 4-man Magnet Storm from Imacap, but is it gonna be enough though? There's just so much damage, and there's so much tank stats from Stand and Blue Devils. I don't think it's gonna be enough for the rest of the members of JRD Gaming to be able to deal with them, and all 5 members of Fawn in Game 1 will go over to Stand and Blue.
They're the defending champions for a reason here, Rafa. The Blue Devils take game number 1 in just under 35 minutes. They've outscaled the Kassadin. They took all the objectives. They closed this one out, and now we're at match point here.
Well, Smacks, we got no time to break down that game because we got to get ready for game 2. So don't tune away, folks. We'll be right back.
Till the battle's won, till kingdom come. Best to give me your loyalty, 'cause I'm taking royalty. if I saw another day, only to scream into the night. Nothing ever tries to change, even if I want to realize. 'Cause I've been sitting here.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to get ready for Game 2 between Jerry Do Gaming and Stand Blue Devils. And if you missed the first one, well, it was spicy, Smacks. That's all I got to say about that one.
I've got more to say about that one because it was really fun.
Lay it down for me then, Smacks.
The
Tell
Blue
me
Devils
what's up.
came out with some sweet tech in that game. First of all, the Trundle came through. This is not a champion that you get to see too often in today's meta, but maybe he is today's meta, as the patch just came out yesterday. Maybe the Blue Devils
a whole new
are
world,
already
Smacks.
on that. Exactly. Take us on a magic carpet ride here with Trundle. We also have the Cho'Gath Senna in the bottom lane, which is super awesome to see here too. Maybe that gets some ban pressure here in this one as well. You could maybe ban away that Senna, or maybe Jerry Do picks this Senna first. We'll have to find out.
Yeah, it was prioritized for Stand Blue Devils in the game 1. So far, the bans have not changed up so far, but we're only 2 bans in, so we'll take things slow. And there it is. The Senna, no more for Cody Dunn.
Ooh, yep. Got to get rid of that champion. I'm glad to see that one, by the way. I want to see Cody Dunn smurf it on a non-support champion, because that's really the biggest thing that you got to see. If you can play the Senna, awesome. You can play the weak side very, very well. But then you got to know how to play the carry marksman as well. So I'm really excited to see Cody Dunn on one of those in this game. Also, we are seeing the return of I'm a Cat's Rel in this one too. So we can see some more engages coming down from that support role.
It would be pretty hype to see Garen locked in, but I don't think today is that day, ladies and gentlemen. More than likely, we should be seeing an answer into this Rel, and it looks like without the Senna, they're going to switch up the bottom lane duo here. Alistar being locked in. I know this is the favorite one of your Smacks. I personally like your Alistar as well whenever we play.
Oh, yeah. Alistar is a ton of fun. You have all the engaged threat in the world. You can't die when you ult. It's sort of like the Tryndamere of the bottom lane. He deals way too much damage, and you just can never kill him. And you can't get away from him either. So this champion is a lot of fun. It's a really nice response into the Rel too. We got to see Jessie deny a lot of the engages with the pillar. Alistar does exactly that, except you can't miss. You just headbutt her as soon as she jumps into the air. So this is a really good response here from Hoodie. Again, Hoodie just played a game of Cho'Gath, so he's a more carry damage threat in this one. So going to be switching that one up, going to the Alistar instead. We're also seeing the Lee Sin swapped over the Blue Devil side.
Still undetermined whether this is going to be a Lee Sin in the solo lane or if it's going to be going to the hands of Jessie. But Jerry Do have answered. Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo! Smacks. Okay, more spice coming into game 2. I mean, the Scion, definitely something we see a lot at MSI, but Karthus and even the Darius response. We see this a lot in the semi-professional scene for Proving Grounds, but man, Smacks, I mean, I'm excited to see it even here in the high school championship.
Yet again, we are seeing the champions come through just so fast, Rafa, and the Darius response into Scion is another one of those champions that we get to see a lot of over there in Proving Grounds. We got a lot of Darius players up there, and this is looking like a really good matchup into it. It's just a melee champion that just kind of stands there and takes the Darius bleed stacks on top of him. So for Andy Main up there, it's definitely looking like he's going to have a pretty nice way to get to that late game and get to those team fights later on here too. Very different from the Shen as well. And with this Lee Sin, we now know that it's probably not going to be going to the top lane because the Darius is a response to the Scion. Maybe it's going to be going jungle. Maybe it's going to be going to the mid lane and we get a magic damage dealing jungler to match the Karthus.
All right, Smacks. Hear me out. Hear me out. And I need you to come in a little closer because I'm ready. Hey, okay. So check this out.
Let's bring this up here, actually.
So Darius... I'm going to get some ASMR real quick. Yeah. Darius jungle.
Okay. I'm sold.
That's it. That's the tech. Now, Darius jungle did get buffed where the bleed stacks and the bleed damage is uncapped against jungle monsters.
Yeah.
I myself have played some Darius jungle. It's cool and it's very fun, and you take Ghost Smite instead of Flash Smite. Now, and you know, if you think about who the jungle matchup is into, it is going to be more than likely Karthus, and I'm going to take that bet because Sadka's GM has already gone with Exhaust Smite. That is something typical that you take on Karthus just to be able to deal with any junglers that are trying to invade you, but you know, can work pretty well against Lee Sin. Against Darius, though, you pop Ghosts. You don't care about exhaust. You're just going to apply the bleed stacks, and then that is one sad Karthus. So that, I know that's probably not going to happen, Smacks, but I'm that is the dream.
We're spending a lot of energy on Rafa's pipe dream here, which, you know, is definitely exciting. I would absolutely enjoy it if it happened. And it's up to the Blue Devils to actually show that to us. It does look like they have decided to lock in this Tristana, so yet another physical damage dealing champion. This could go mid, probably going to go bot lane, though. It's a really nice pair up there with the Alistar. Something very interesting has just occurred, though, Rafa. We now have a Wukong.
Scion mid.
So it very likely is that Scion mid, exactly.
Powerful champion right now that Scion, and in terms of a lot of the, oh my gosh, we don't even have a chance to talk about the potentials of Scion mid because we got to talk about this Vayne for Bobitos.
Okay, we'll get back to Scion later, but yeah, this Vayne is really crazy. This is a really slippery champion as well. Against the champions like the Darius and the Lee Sin, who are very melee, have to come into you. Vayne has a really good time of just dodging away of that one and kiting it out with her stealth. Okay, I thought it was going to be Kassadin. They switched over to the Sylas. I don't even know where these champions are going to go for the Blue Devils. It could be Darius mid to match the Scion. It could be the Sylas mid as well. There's a lot of stuff going on in this draft, and I think we're going to have another very, very fun one. We have so many melee champions. This one is 7 of them are melee, Rafa.
Aatrox could have been nutty if that was one of the picks there. Just so many meatballs fighting off against each other, and then you just... But anyway, Aatrox, not a part of this game, and it looks like we're not going to get the Darius jungle, unfortunately, you know, but it's okay. Lee Sin, still a very powerful jungler in his own right, and like you said, Smacks, now that we are on patch 11.10, farming is not as OP as it used to be before, and with catch-up experience being slotted back into the game, it gives junglers like Lee Sin, who powerful duelists, powerful gankers, powerful skirmishers, pretty weak on the clearing side, are now not going to be as punished if he's investing a lot of time into trying to impact the map here in this game.
And I feel like that is something that he's really going to want to do in this one too, especially on the invade side of things against Sadka's GM's Karthus. This is a champion that can be very vulnerable in the early game. Just like you mentioned, that's the reason that he has exhaust in this game. But Lee Sin is just so oppressive early. We got to see it last game from Cryo Knight in the top lane. That does not stop if you send him in the jungle either. Just has so much damage from the Sonic Wave and everything off of that there too. And all the mobility to get into reach of this Karthus is so brutal. So if he can find those invades or maybe some ganks as well, it can be pretty safe for him to do that. You have a lot of priority in these lanes as well. You have to imagine that Sylas can get a wave pushing against this Scion with all the extra damage that he has in his passive auto attacks. And the Darius as well, if he's landing the bleed stacks, if he's getting the heal from his Decimate. This is a really powerful set of topside champions. It doesn't even stop there, Rafa. The Tristana Alistar lane has so much engaged threat down there too for Cody and Hoodie. So these guys are really just all in, all engage all the time on the Blue Devils side.
This composition wants to do one thing only, Smacks, and it is go forward. You have decent engage tools. Alistar is going to be your main bread and butter going into this one, but because you have locked in this Sylas for return, you get to pick up tools like the Cyclone from Cryo Knight. You get to hijack Dennis's ultimate in the Unstoppable Onslaught, or even the Magnet Storm as well from I'm a Cat. So you have powerful engaged ultimates that you can steal from the enemy team to just make your engages even more reliable, even more successful. And on especially champs that just want to go in, get resets like the Tristana and the Darius, you're relying on a little bit of burst to just start knocking the rest of the Jerry Do Gaming members down like dominoes here.
Now, one thing I will point out before we get into the game, which could be a thorn in the Blue Devils side, as a Sylas player myself, it is sometimes very frustrating to play against the Wukong, because if you use your ultimate on the Wukong clone, you don't get anything, and it goes on cooldown. And sometimes it's really hard to tell, especially now that the clone can actually use Cyclone as well. So Return is going to have to be pretty careful about that one. I've definitely had that happen to me more times than I would like to admit, because it feels really, really bad. So hopefully that doesn't happen to Return. Hopefully this is a smarter player than I am when it comes to Sylas Ultimate. But yeah, just like you said, you have to go all in on this team. And honestly, that's pretty true of both sides. It's just a little bit different for JerryDo, because they have these champions that can kite back, like the Karthus and the Vayne. You have that extra mode of playing a team fight out if it does come to that, but that's really just not true of the Blue Devils. They have to jump in. You ever see Meet the Robinsons? The motto there, keep moving forward. That's the same thing here.
That's an underrated movie, by the way.
Oh, I know. That movie's so good.
It's definitely one of those films where you're like, you go through the Disney archive of like great films, and you can name off the Pixar films, you can name off of the Disney Renaissance films, and then like people will never mention Meet the Robinsons, and if you do, they're like, what's that? And you just go, stop what you're doing, go watch that film. Obviously, if you're watching the Play versus High School Championship, finish this first.
Oh yeah.
And then go watch Meet the Robinsons. We'll fund you some popcorn and whatever drinks you want, on Meet. Just
Yep. After this, we'll all meet up in the Play versus Discord, and we'll screen share our Disney Plus to watch.
Hell yeah!
It'll be a good time.
Yeah, on us.
Yep.
A little community bonding moment, Just.
And then, right before the ending, where the twist villain is revealed, we'll pause the movie, and then we'll all have a group exercise where we write the movie a better ending. Shouldn't be too hard. The ending of that movie is pretty atrocious. But everything else is great. So we're going to have a great time watching it up until the... well, I'm not going to spoil it. We're going to watch it later. But yeah. The ending
You've
sucks.
already kind of spoiled that the ending sucks, but...
Well, I mean,
I
think
get
it's
that
great.
you're doing the audience a public service, but I think what could have brought us together even further, Smacks, is if we all
just found out
experienced
together.
yeah, we all experienced that disappointment together, because in times of hardship, even when people are going through pain, when people are going through the same pain together, there's like a bonding experience in that, and we are able to grow stronger from that.
Sounds like you just watched the Falcon and the Winter Soldier show.
Dude, yeah, also banger show, and when no spoilers, but when they that moment with Isaiah Bradley, bro, man, I was tearing up.
That ending is a lot better than Meet the Robinsons, let me tell you. And hopefully the ending to this series is a lot better here too, as we're going to be getting into the game here. Could be the ending game of this series. This is best of 3. So if the Blue Devils take game 2, then that's it. That's all we got for you today. They looked pretty strong in the first one.
Yeah, JerryDo Gaming have quite a mountain to climb. It is the first game that they have dropped all season at the hands of the defending champions, but they can still go on an undefeated set streak if they're able to claw their way back. It would have to start with game 2 and then lead into the game 3. As we're on the Rift here, Smacks, and I'm curious to see what level 1 plans the Blue Devils have this time around, as they don't want to let Sadka's GM's Karthus scale up anytime soon. Ooh. Oh my god, Return. He's going to face check into 3 people, but Hoodie's going to flash forward. Going to try to headbutt Sadka's GM, but he doesn't get quite the right angle on it, doesn't get that much distance, and Stand and Blue Devils with the very very adventurous level 1 ends in disaster as now JerryDo Gaming are just
Oh.
running down the members of the Blue Devils. And they don't get out here, Smacks.
Feeling like we might get a game 3 here, Rafa. We saw 3 kills, and then after that, the announcer decided to tell us that the minions have spawned. So we're getting things started very, very early for JerryDo. Oh, we get to watch this again. All right. So return. He has a pretty nice idea to go over this wall, but then Hoodie was just a little bit too far to the right to find the headbutt angle. You gotta feel like the pulverize might have been a little bit more effective there, but then Cryo Knight comes out of the woodwork, gives Bobitos that kill, and then a double kill as well from the Vayne. Oh, it's just brutal. And then after that, minions have spawned. The game has begun. Wait, you guys are already dead. Oh no.
I'm still kind of rolling from that level 1 there. That was, I mean, but you know what? That was fun.
Oh yeah.
And I think those are moments, those are risks that you can take, and hopefully you learn from them. Or maybe it can work in another world. The execution needs to be better, because the idea and the theory behind it is totally valid. If you are able to stifle and punt GM into your team, you prevent Karthus from being able to get off on the right start, and you can decelerate the ramping that this Karthus can have. But because you've now spoon-fed a couple kills, not only into Dennis, but also Bobitos, another scaling threat here for JerryDo Gaming. Now Stand and Blue Devils, it means the first 10 minutes of this game have to go so much better with less room for error.
Yeah. They've just made the game a lot trickier for themselves. They used a lot of flashes in that one too. 3 of them were used. All 3 of the members did still die in the end, so that early game was just super tough. We're seeing that in the top lane, it hasn't mattered quite yet, as Andy is up in CS. He actually has a lot of bleed stacks here. He might still get this kill. I think he's... Oh, the Triumph.
Did he not have Q? It seems like took for... I wonder what the cooldown is on Andy's Decimate. Because if...
I think he used it...
See.
Yeah, he used
okay,
it right
he used
there.
it right there. Okay.
But he did not land the healing aspect of it onto Cryo's real body. And he doesn't have flash, so he's not getting out of that anytime soon. And then Cryo has to use his own, so he gets to survive. Oh, Jesse. You don't have flash either.
Yeah, he needs a ward to get out of that one. And because he's level down, sad because GM has an extra point in those Skittles, so the late waste doing a little bit more damage than Jesse can handle. I mean, Lee Sin, we know, powerful in the skirmishes and in duels, but Karthus deceptively can put out a lot of damage.
Whoa.
It's Cody Dunn taking a lot of damage in this 2v2 trade. Hoodie looking for a follow-up stun, but getting minion blocked at the moment, taking a lot of odd attacks on the way out of that 2v2.
When you play in Vayne's range, she deals a tremendous amount of damage, especially if that third auto attack lands onto you. The silver bolts. Just a gigantic chunk there from that champion. As you can see, Cody Dunn has to use the heal, is on the back foot in this lane, does not get to recall at the same time, and will be coming back to this lane a little bit later. You see that Bobitos even has full Berserker's Greaves, so make it a little bit faster. Cryo.
This Decimate lands.
Oh!
Yep, there it is.
All right. The Blue Devils are on the board, Rafa. They've got a kill, and it's a solo kill up top lane. Andy Main shrugging off the solo kill that was inflicted upon him. And you can see just how powerful this champion actually is. It's the difference of landing the Q or missing the Q. That's really all it is up there. And Andy, this time, lands the Q. Whoa, the roll!
Oh, Hoodie! Where'd you come from? I guess he took a little
the raptor
detour
pit.
into the Chicken Nuggets scenic view. And he has Hex Flash, so you know that he found the angle onto Dennis. Creative stuff from the Blue Devils, being able to answer back. Advantage still in the favor of
Look at this
JerryDo Gaming,
minimap.
but... Oh, look at them. Boom, 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 ba-dum, bum, 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 bum.
He actually gets
ba-dum,
spotted,
bum.
but it doesn't matter.
They're like,
He still
hey, he's
gets onto
coming.
this.
Oh, Dennis realizes a second too late.
Yeah.
They pung him out, and Dennis like, oh, no, 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 no. But he doesn't have enough time to get out.
Yep. Barely didn't have flash either. So, as much as he can sing, not end up working out. I like your singing voice, Rafa. It's very nice.
Thanks, man. I don't get to do it that often. But I appreciate you.
It's very pleasant. Soothes my soul.
You know what also soothes my soul, Smacks?
Tell me.
Some good League of Legends.
Oh yeah.
That's what we're seeing right now. We're definitely seeing some spicy League of Legends. Constant action, back and forth.
But he's back
Check
in this
these
lane.
moves out.
And Jesse's here too. It's potentially going to be a play. Nice thing about Hex Flash is that you get to use it all the time. And now, Hoodie has real flash available, so it's going to be even faster if they want to go for this play. But we are seeing a recall there from Jesse. I think it is going to be called off.
Wow. Turn taking quite the chunk-a-ronies from Dennis there. Gonna try to lifesteal it back up with the Kingslayer. Sad because GM is waiting in the wings, ensuring that Dennis can push in this wave. In return... Oh... But Cody Dunn is here, the roaming Tristana. I've never seen this one. Oh, but we got Hoodie waiting in the wings. But sad because GM has already taken down Return. I don't know if Cody Dunn has enough damage to be able to fight this one out. Sad does run out of mana, though. Can't fight anymore. No more Skittles. No more rainbow tasting for the members of Standard Blue Devils. But wow, I'm a little surprised that they're able to kind of walk out of that one for free.
It's not entirely for free, though, as Return does get dropped. Just a lot of trading here. Goes super well for Dennis in this lane. You see he's landing all of these spells onto Return. The armor gets reduced from that last E, and Return, even with all this extra healing, does get taken down. Another lay waste proc, and that kill does go over to Sad, too. That is the exact member that you do not want to be scaling up. It's just like the Kassadin in the last game. Karthus does a very similar thing. If you give him all of these kills early, he's going to do so well with them later. Nice apprehend.
Wow. Even if the clone wasn't on the back one, being able to scoop up both just to ensure that you have one or the other. Great stuff from Andy. As Cryo Knight, despite having that solo kill on Andy earlier, still kind of suffering in the CS department, as, you know, we were definitely surprised the solo kill went the way of Wukong, but, you know, seeing the CS leads, not necessarily that surprising, as Darius just so oppressive in the laning phase.
He's not back down either after that early deficit. Exactly what you need to do in this matchup on Darius. There's not a lot that you're going to be able to do later on if you're down in golden experience against the Wukong later, so you do need to still make sure that you're getting that lane advantage on Darius. You need to make sure that you can still be a team fight threat later on, so Andy is doing exactly that. Seeing that he's still pushing in these minion waves against Cryo, still getting all that pressure, and if the Blue Devils want to, pretty much at any time, they can go ahead and start up that Rift Herald, but Jesse Main clearing out these camps on the bot side, maybe going to be clearing over to that objective. It has just recently spawned.
Hex Flash comes out from Hoodie. Looks for Dennis, gets the Pulverize into the headbutt. But I don't think it's going to be enough damage from Cody Dunn quite yet. This is a very beefy Scion, as...
Oh my word.
Scion, by the way, ladies and gentlemen. Decimating Smash. Yeah, he's got a bunch of base damage. Oh, but is it enough? Okay, well.
Oh no!
Uh-oh, but
He's got
Requiem
the
coming
ults?
up. Oh, does he have the damage reduction? Oh, how much HP is that? Like,
Not a lot.
Barely under 20, bro.
I haven't taken a math course in a while, but I can tell you that that number is not very big. We're gonna see a replay of this one yet again. Hoodie is so fast with the mobility boost in this bottom lane. Just to knock Dennis around. It's another stun connecting, and isn't that entire bomb. We do see that Dennis has something to say about that one. He slaps Hoodie with the Grasp the Undying, but after this, the jump connects here from Cody. Hoodie gets to survive that turret shot, and then after all that, he hits level 6, quickly skills the ability, just barely lives. Just through Dark Harvest too. Oh, that's brutal.
Yeah. Ay, mamacita. Oh my god. That's super close. A little too close for comfort. But for Hoodie, not even close, baby, as as they would say in all chat.
Shout out to Donkey. He just dropped a new song today. Also, shout out to Andy, who is now in a 1v2.
Well, can he survive this one? I don't think
Oh.
so. Oh, but the dunk and the
Triumph.
bleed? Triumph might be enough. I think Cryo is going to walk out of this one. Hoodie's got something to say about that. And in fact, good old drive-by. Jesse just walking by, throws out the Sonic Wave, and now Return and Hoodie are just trading turret aggro. Will be able to dive. Sad, because GM. But they are sitting on Defile, and Dennis is there for the cleanup and the response. So Stan and Blue Devils lose 3 for 2.
That's kills all over the place again, Rafa. We're seeing the first mythic of the game gets picked up after that one, a Luden's Tempest for Sad. But yeah, Andy, he's in this 1v2 situation. Triumph exists, so he does not get the solo kill. But then this return play here, it's so tricky to actually dive this early in the game. You don't have a tank to make sure that the turret only drops one person. Takes down 2 more, and then here comes Dennis also with his ultimate. Man, everybody just wants to have some fights all the time.
Cody just got
experience.
ignited. But I'm a Cat has lost their horse.
There it is.
It's back.
Oh boy,
Oh.
not quite.
You know, anytime that Karthus throws out the ulti, I guess this is Return Silas's Karthus ulti in this case. Whenever they throw it out, I usually call it the vibe check. It's like, okay, you know, do you have enough damage to execute them at this point in the game? Does not pass the vibe check, but Return wants a little bit of a follow-up there. Obidos pushes him out with the Condemn, and Sad because GM is also here for reinforcements, just in case they got a little too frisky for the comfort of the members of Jeridu Gaming.
Return really wants to kill this ward. Does dodge out on all of the lay waste. Maybe have found Sam, or Sad, excuse me. Sam is
Out. Naka follows up. Hoodie might be enough to take him down, and he's going to pop the Unbreakable just to make sure he has enough damage reduction to be able to walk out of that one alive. There's no Requiem to fear for, but Sad because GM fortunately will go down. We'll get to watch the replay of that one again.
Yeah, unfortunately, the Condemn there sort of saves Return. Need to see some footsie with the lay waste sacks, but then this one comes in through again. So Cody is just barely not in range to get this kill, so Hoodie picks it up, but again, this is still completely fine because they are killing the scaling aspect of this team. They are also at the same time pressuring the lane that Bobitos is in, who is the other scaler. So just trying to put these two champions behind is exactly what the Blue Devils need to do in a game like this, and it's just a really nice measure to do that. They don't actually lose anyone in this round either.
They've done a lot of work within the past few minutes of the game to try and erase the mistakes they made in that level 1 invade. So far, Sand and Blue Devils, it has netted them not necessarily a tied up gold advantage, but they are just barely down a few hundred. But for Jeridu Gaming, we still have these scaling aspects that you can look forward to. An item power spike has been completed for Sad Cuz GM in that Luden's Tempest. And now Jesse Man and Hoodie, we're going to look for an opportunity here on I'm a Cat. He has no flash. Good interrupt, though, on the Sonic Wave. Oh, but Jesse Main! Ward Hop, kick flash! Bobitos has got nowhere to run, but just as I say that, never mind. Buster Shot is so damn strong. And they got the resets there. Sand and Blue Devils are able to clean up, too. Requiem, even as a response, is not enough.
It was really close though, Rafa, but just barely do come out ahead, the Blue Devils, and they're going to take the first turn of the game too. All plates attached just in time for the Dragon that just now spawned here too. Top side though, the dunk. Another
But
solo
here
kill.
comes... Oh. Ow. I think Return landed right into Satka's GM onto the top side. I saw that. Jesus, Dios mío.
Return! The flash forward on Silas. Again, Rafa, we cannot get away from these kills. It's been 13 minutes in. We have 18 kills. We're getting so wild in this game of League of Legends. And this series as a whole, I shouldn't be surprised at this point. We do get to see that engage come through. Jesse's sweet mechanics on Lee Sin. That was clean. You're not going to see that in Wild Rift.
Unfortunately, no, because it is very difficult to do kick flash. I think you have to change up the control scheme a bit. There's a slight moment from I'm a Cat where he interrupted and almost took down Cody Dunn, but alas, he's able to survive with a sliver of health. This 1v1 though was super close.
Yeah, Andy is the Wukong is just in his face. He can't land the Q heal, so it does get dropped there. See the Return is able to flash into the range of the Karthus and just immediately walk away. So strong. And there's Dragon, too. We got 2 of those now on the side of the Blue Devils, and they've gone far further beyond what I was expecting with the gold as well. They're up about 1,500 now, where they were down just a couple of minutes ago.
Down Blue Devils, also with a 2 Dragon lead. It is a Cloud Soul this game. A little bit extra ability haste on those ultimates, which for champions like Silas and Alistar, and Lee Sin as well to an extent. Powerful engage tools, powerful pick tools as well. And Andy being able to complete this Stride Breaker, still no boots, but the Stride Breaker movement speed, as well as that active, does give him already some powerful gap closing opportunities.
Only does. Steris is pretty much exactly what he needs. Not really against Cryo Knight, though. Those 2 are definitely going to be within hand-holding range. But everyone else he really does need to have the extra engage range on. Dennis, though, is up here. Just saying hello.
Hola. And I'm just going to walk away. Well, that was...
missed his post, though. And now there's a wave crashing with a Tristana.
Max, have you ever had a Scion just randomly walk into your lane, say hi, and just dip out?
Maybe. Not in a while. Not that I can remember, but... yeah, by doing that, it has opened up Cody to just continue walking around the rift and strapping bombs to the turrets so that they explode right away. It's a second turret in the bottom lane alone.
Oh, Andy. Requiem comes out, Cyclone Flash on the follow-up. Cryo Knight should have one more dash and takes him down. Gonna be enough. But meanwhile, mid lane, we got some more action. Dennis! Oh my god! Hoodie headbutting Dennis under the turret. I don't know if that's necessarily the place that Jesse wanted to be, but the Sonic Wave, resonating strike follow-up damage is just enough to be able to take him down before he falls to the turret.
Cody's making him work for it right there. He's making Sad work for it too. He's threatening the engage here. Oh my word!
Hoodie flash forward, finds Sadka's GM. No flash on him means the Karthus is just a sitting duck ready to be taken down. Cody Dunn getting the resets. Rocket jumped forward, gets the double, looking for potentially a triple, but Bobidos looking to answer back and respond. And Cody Dunn, seeing the teleport, says, you know what, I think that's enough for now, but potentially actually a re-engage. Andy Main has teleported also to the fray. Return of Vi also following in the wings. Gonna be enough to just push the remaining members of Jerry Do Gaming away from the fight.
Kills are still going off the charts right now, Rafa. We've got another turret in the sights of Cody. He's gonna try to knock this one down. He's been knocked up though. Doesn't have jump.
Oh, Everfrost land. That's a lot of damage.
Everfrost. Yep. It's tough. Can't do much at that point there, but he had flash, but he's rooted up. And again, we see that people are leaving their post in the mid lane. Andy Main might get to take this one down entirely. There is a Wukong in the lane, though. There's going to be top turret.
Yeah. Cody Dunn is very strong, Smacks. I don't know if we've really mentioned that, but he's kind of just crept up in power with a bunch of these kills going to his wayside, and now he's 5-0-1.
We interrupt your regularly scheduled program with a quick PSA. Cody Dunn on the Tristana is popping off. Also,
Breaking
Andy Main, I
news,
think, is dead.
Andy Main getting knocked out by the Cyclone, though. And he's dead. Cody might be dead, too, if he doesn't get out. But Phase Rush is very powerful for getting out of sticky situations like that one.
That is a speedy, speedy cow. Oh, look. All right, we get a replay on the top side. It's always fun in games like this where the replay comes up and you have no idea what it's going to replay. It's just because there's been so many fights. But this one up on the top side just got so dicey. Oh, we get another perspective on this. Return. We're just able to one-shot Cat over here. Andy Main helping out. And then they set up on the Devastation on the top side as well. Back to live, though. The Drake is up.
Third Dragon has spawned. Flash on Cody, Return, and Jesse. No flash. Uh-oh. Bobitos does have flash, and he's trying to follow Cody Dunn in line.
Woo!
Oh, nicely. Wait, where did Jesse go? Oh, God. Well, no jungler for Stand and Blue Devils. This should be fairly easy to secure for Jeridu Gaming.
There's a cow
Now, if
over
Stand
there.
and Blue... Yeah, I don't know if Blue Devils really want to fight. I guess Hoodie was waiting for potential re-engage opportunity, but... Yeah, no smite, no contest.
And Bobitos was super threatening right there. Almost got knocked up by Return, but really nice tumble to get on out of that situation. The reflexes were flawless right there, and that's what we need to see from Bobitos in a game like this too, on the Vayne. It's getting really crazy on the fights. I don't know if Andy can live this.
Yeah, Stridebreaker does give him a little bit of the gap closer. Okay, he's got the fancy feet. Uh-oh. But the rest of the collapse is coming in. Magnastorm pulls him and Hoodie right back in.
Uh-oh.
Cody Dunn, this is not the fight that you want to be looking for, but he
Whoa!
flashes forward. He's trying to look for the cleanup, but it's not enough damage. Shutdown comes out for Cryo Knight. That's a huge amount of gold going into the pockets of the Monkey King.
Oh, barely too little on both champions that Cody tried to kill right there. And that's really the difference between a won and a lost fight on a champion like Tristana, where a kill means you get to jump again. You get to see the beginning of this one from Andy's perspective. He thought he was safe. Couldn't have been more wrong there, Rafa. There is a Rel and a Karthus and a Wukong and a Vayne. Oh my. There he goes. Let's watch what
It's the
Cody's
Beatles.
able to do.
All four of them.
Okay.
Oh.
He messed up the jump, so he jumped into the wall, was forced to flash over it to try to continue the play, and then just barely didn't find the last lethal hits.
Yeah. As you would
So
say,
close.
Max, that's tough.
Yeah, it's tough.
You've been saying that a lot recently. I
tough.
like it, though. Yeah. It's something that I would hear a lot when I was living in North Carolina. It's like, shoo, man, that test was tough.
Ooh-wee.
Getting country. All of a sudden. Back in the game, though. 21-minute mark. Stand and Blue Devils still technically ahead by gold, but at this point in the game, 1,000 gold is not that much in the grand scheme of things, as item power spikes are really starting to kind of define what's important as we start looking towards the mid-game. And the next couple of fights involving objectives like the Dragon and this Baron are going to have strong and clear indications of who's going to come out and close out the game here.
Game that's been dictated by the fights and the numerous fights, I might add. Something like a Cloud Drake is actually really important to have, so that you can go for these fights more often. Because neither team is giving the opposition any time to breathe, nor us, as it turns out, Rafa.
Oh! You know, I was about to say, it's like, oh, let's check how much damage Requiem does. It just deleted him. That was at least a 500 damage ulti.
All damage is it what it turns out it does. As a nice global pressure ultimate used. I'm a cat, it's gotta jump. Gotta blast.
Ah, well, he's gonna blast all right. Blast into the Shadow Realm. Hoodie is looking for Cryo 9 on the entry of the teleport. Jesse still has Dragon's Rage. Looking for the kick. Andy Main out of nowhere, coming over the wall with the Flash Stridebreaker. They're gonna be able to find Bobitos. They lose Jesse, though, and sad because GM along with Dennis, are looking for the re-engage. Andy Main, I think he's not getting out of this one. Oh my gosh, guys. This Karthus is getting a little too strong here to deal with. It's a triple for the Karthus. Return of Vi has returned to the field. He's trying to get back into the fight. He's stolen the Sion ultimate, non-stoppable onslaught, not necessarily landing, but it's enough to part the members of Jeridu Gaming, separating Dennis as a lone bystander member. And Cody Dunn and Return are able to equalize the casualties on the Rift.
It is another favorable exchange, though, with the earlier pickoff from the Karthus ultimate. Start this one off yet again. I'm a Cat does get caught out, but that is the use of the Buster Shot from Cody. You see that the Wukong teleport was not able to be interrupted. The flash forward from Andy tries to get this one started off yet again, but nobody has hit Sad. Nobody at all has even touched him a little bit. We see all of the lay waste damage has made sure that Sad gets a 10th kill in this game. I don't think those are going to stop anytime soon, Rafa. The triple kill for the Karthus is the worst possible news for the Blue Devils.
But for Jeridu Gaming, it is the silver lining. It is the ray of hope to... Speaking of ray of hope, they've caught off Andy, and he's got nowhere to run. The rest of the reinforcements were coming in for Jeridu Gaming just as an insurance policy. Notice still on the bottom side of the map, Jesse is currently taking out the fourth dragon of the game, picking up their third one. But now this is an opportunity for Jeridu to burn down this Baron, unless they're actually going to have to respect the amount of pressure that Stand Blue Devils are putting out. Requiem comes out. Damage check. Oh, Cryo Knight with the flank looking for Cody, but he doesn't have Cyclone, or he's already used it. Cody, is he going to be able to survive? No! Shut down with the last dying breath from Cryo, and he's still surviving the fight. He's just going toe-to-toe with the rest of the members of Stand Blue Devils, and the rest of Jeridu Gaming are able to follow up as reinforcements. They take down 2. Jesse is here to potentially contest the Baron, but a 5-on-3 here, Smacks.
Gotta watch out. The Cat's knocked up. Instantly kills Hoodie, though, and now Jesse is in a 1v5. Oh, he found one. Maybe he can find 2.
A 2,000 on the Baron health there. They're going to be able to take out Wukong, but Baron has been burned by Sad and the rest of Jeridu Gaming. They lose 2. They still have Baron members on 3 here, Smacks, and just like that, for quite a bit of the mid-game, Stand Blue Devils were falling their way back, but just fight after fight, Jeridu Gaming are starting to now pull ahead.
Jeridu are going to feel completely fine giving up those 2 kills if it means they get that Baron and the gold lead back as well. All starts off with a pick onto Andy Main. From then on out, the Karthus ult just starts off this fight, the rest of the team fight rather, with just a gigantic chunk out of everyone's health bar. We're about to see it on our screens. There comes the Requiem. Just so huge. Crown Knight, he doesn't even need Cyclone to get this one started off. Just barely survives. And now, Return, he's got a huge engage angle, yes, but nobody's there to follow up the damage. Gets taken down right where he stands, and that signals the beginning of the Baron, and potentially the beginning of the end of Game 2 here. I think we might be going to a Game 3 off of that.
I am definitely in agreement with you on that one, Smacks. The way that this game is starting to close out, Karthus and the Vayne are getting to a point where they are almost unkillable, because you don't have enough ways of being able to reliably get into the backline. Now, to be fair, we have not seen a proper 5-on-5 fight in quite some time. It has been very scattered, and when the champions of Stand Blue Devils are all scattered around, it's very easy for Bobitos to just hunt down targets one by one. Same thing for Sadka's GM.
You got a death cap now, too. That is so much AP on the Karthus. He is going to be hurting in these later fights. Maybe later is too long a word. Maybe the fights are going to come soon as well. We got 4 members squadding up for Jeridu. Got a cannon minion on deck, trying to take down the second turret in the mid lane. And there's just a lot of standing gold available for them. They already have the gold lead, but there's still a lot more to be had. Missing out on some stuff in the bot side, but they're really just trying to make this mark in the mid lane work out.
Dan and Blue Devils have left their post in the mid lane. Do give up the second tier turret in that lane as well. But the Baron Siege is not going to be maintained here by Jerry Dude Gaming. Looks like they're going to take their exit through the top side of the map, clear out some vision. Mobitos. Oh, Hoodie with a beautiful flank angle. Hex flash over the wall. Cody's able to fall off with the resets. Looks for it, gets a double. They're all dogpiling on the side because GM, he's in stopwatch mode. But look at the flank from Cryo Knight trying to look for Cody. He gets a triple, but through the Requiem, he should go down. And the lane waste members, just like that, Jerry Do. What is happening, Smacks? Throughout the entire fight, Jerry Do Gaming, even in the after death of Sad, he's still able to pick up a triple, and Cryo cleans it up.
I was ready to say that Hoodie was keeping the Blue Devils in the game off of that one play. He finds the kill onto Bobitos, the Vayne, who is the AD carry, the late game scaling champion, to try to keep them alive on the damage front, but he's just not needed. Sad because GM does so much damage on Karthus. He just picked up a 4th item on that one. It's going to be an inhibitor falling too, and there's just been so many kills in this game. You have to remember that every single member of both teams is a threat. If you kill one person, there's still the rest of the team to deal with, and Hoodie may have found himself a monkey, but he may have also found himself a death.
Well, he's got the rest of the friends. He's got amigos. Here, Smacks. And I'm a cat thought that he was one more amigo than they were dealing with. Uh-oh, Dennis staying a little too long. Okay, well, Blue Devils, they pick up 3 here.
Wow. They're going to start up on the Dragon. This is Soul. If they take this one, this is the permanent Soul movement speed buff, the lower ultimate cooldowns, and it also signals the beginning of the Elder Dragon spawn. Oh boy. No way does this kill him, right? What? Huh? That just did 1,000 to Alistar. Hoodie thought he didn't have to ult. He was wrong. Okay. Okay.
That was disgusting. Oh my god.
Yeah, that's nuts. That's so much damage from Karthus. Oh my goodness, Rafa. I still have no idea who's going to win this game. And we're 30 minutes in.
Wow.
Let's watch this again. He has Alistar ultimate. He's like,
Yeah, and
surely I live. That's insane. You heard me say it too. I thought he was gonna live
no
too.
Words. I know. I'm just crying right now. Like, man.
Tears of joy?
It's tears of amusement and terror. It's,
one eye is happy, one eye is sad.
Yeah. There's no sadness in here. I'm watching some damn good League of Legends, Max. But
one eye
man,
is scared of Karthus.
Yes.
There we go.
There you go. Well, Andy,
I'm not convinced that Dennis lives this. Yeah, he's got ult out.
Yeah, Unstoppable Onslaught will get forced out. Andy, notably, does not have teleport. If Jerry Do Gaming have been keeping track of teleport timers, then they will know they have an opportunity to start up the Baron, but Return to Buy taking on a 1v1 against Cryo Knight. Takes about half of his HP, forcing the Sterak's Gauge as well. Bobitos pop in the final hour. Gonna try to run down Hoodie and return out of the Baron pit, but doesn't really net them anything. Cryo Knight does have TP in about 30 seconds, I would imagine. So he does have to take the long walk back, but he's going to answer Andy Main in this bottom lane, who is trying to break down this inhibitor turret.
Cryo didn't use Cyclone here. He does have teleport, so this fight can turn into a 5v4 in favor of Jerry Do, but instead they're still going to walk away. Oh! Disengage!
Flash Magnus Storm from Return to Buy. Hoodie with the follow-up 3-man knock-up. Cody's still on the brink of death. It's going to go down to the Requiem. And just like that, stand to Blue Devils every time they find an advantageous fight. Sad is still able to take a couple members with him to the Shadow Realm, but it's 4 for 3, and Andy was still pushing onto the bottom side of the map. Looks like he and Cryo decided to opt out of the 1v1. Jesse still being alive. We'll try to find some time to push in this wave. Cryo is 2 levels above Jesse. think he would be able to win this one.
Oh!
It was close, but Cryo comes out on top.
It was really close. He's got the extra durability of a Bramble Vest, a Ninja Tabby, and Death's Dance. So these physical damage dealing champions are the perfect target for a Cryo Knight. Wins that 1v1 out of the shadows. Man, Rafa. Again, these fights are just so close. The bad news there for Jerry Do is that they were able to start up the Baron, but they do still get taken down, a lot of these members. And yes, they have the extra beyond death damage from Sad, but bad news is he still dies in all of this exchange here too. You can see there's just so much damage from Return. All of this burst. And then the follow-up from Hoodie, the follow-up from Cody is just beautifully layered right there. They're starting it again, though.
Andy is already here, but the Baron is just gone. They burned through that so fast. Elder Dragon is going to spawn in 2 minutes. So there's a window where Stand Blue Devils, or I should say Jerry Do Gaming, want to take as much structural damage as possible. Make sure that Stand Blue Devils don't have as an easy of a time being able to contest that Elder Dragon. Because if super minions are knocking at your base, that's a way to be able to guarantee that you have that Elder Dragon burn. But I know Smacks, they caught him out of rotation. Can they base race them here? They're 3 members. No.
Yeah,
They don't have enough time.
Gotta get out of there. The Baron recalls are far too powerful. However, they only baited 2 of them. Sad and I'm a Cat are still up here on this top side, so that turret's going to fall. Gonna keep crashing these Baron minions. And it's still a little bit spooky here for the Blue Devils. They don't have this Baron. They were able to take an inhibitor, though. That is a really nice bonus for them. They have that extra push advantage in the bottom side as long as there aren't any Baron minions down there, any champions. But that really what that means is that Cryo Knight has to stay down there. He didn't have to teleport in the previous fight. He was able to stay bot side. But now he just has to stay bot side for the entirety of that inhibitor's downtime. Luckily, though, the Elder Dragon is the next fight. The next objective is going to be around that one. 45 seconds. For the Blue Devils, they either need to stop the Karthus ult from happening, or they need to cancel out the damage. You can see they have 3 modes of stasis to do exactly that. We'll see if they're able to do that, or if they need to use it before the Karthus ult lands. That might be the difference between a won or a lost game here.
It's very important to be able to negate that Requiem damage because Sad is full build Karthus.
Yeah.
He even gave up, or he sold the Ego Book in the Medjai's, and he bought a full aid staff. So now, you know that this Karthus means business, and even if you're sporting a lot of magic resist, like Andy, he's still going to be chunking quite a substantial amount of HP, and no one's here. There's no way that they can contest Elder Dragon in time.
No, though, you can't give this up. They gotta go in.
Okay. Oh, they punted. A teleport coming in from Cryo Knight, but sad because GM goes. He still picks up the Elder Dragon. This is a surely one fight for Jerry Do Gaming.
That's gotta be the game right there, Rafa. They have Elder, they have Baron. The Baron's gonna expire really soon, but so many members are dead on the Blue Devils side. It's just over. I think we're going to game 3.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, Jerry Do Gaming saying, defending champions. Okay, that's cool. We're about to be the new champions. We got something to say about that, and I'm a Cat. He can threaten Hoodie because he's got the Elder Dragon buff. There's no way that Hoodie can answer back and respond, trying to cut off the wave, but they're defending. They're tanking the turrets to make sure that this one last minion can give them the damage reduction bonus to take down the turrets. In game 3, now on the horizon here, Smacks.
Oh, these fights are just so brutal on both sides, Rafa. This series is delivering us some crazy action. I am having a great time right now. Jerry Do takes us to match point of their own. We have 1-1. We have one last game on our hands. Jerry Do might just take down the defending champions here, Rafa. They might reverse sweep.
Well, standing Blue Devils, I mean, defending champions, they got a lot to say, and I imagine they're going to take a hard look at the final game in terms of prep and draft to see where they can kind of pivot around, and maybe, that Karthus warrants a ban, but we're going to find out soon, gentlemen, or ladies and gentlemen, because Game 3 is coming up in just a few minutes. We'll be right back. Game 3 on the horizon, Smacks. Come on, where's the finger guns, bro? All right, well, two very spicy back-to-back games. Stand Blue Devils came out swinging in Game 1, but Jeridu Gaming answered back with ferocity in the second game. Now, Game 3 on the line. Defending champions, the Stand Blue Devils, a Cinderella story in the making with Jeridu Gaming, not having dropped a single set so far, undefeated in their run. Do the defending champions end that run today, or do they continue on trucking here, Smacks? That is the question.
Well, we're about to find out, I believe, as we do get yet another side swap. So far, blue side has won both of these games, but I think that's doing a little bit of a disservice, honestly, to the players that have really stepped it up. I think the adaptations that Jeridu have implemented in that previous game were really good. They got Cody off of the Silas. They made sure to get Sad on a really heavy damage dealing champion in this Karthus, which worked out so beautifully well. And I'm really excited to see if they can go for that full reverse sweep, if they can take down the defending fall 2020 champions in this game. We're getting a lot of the same bans already, though, so not expecting too big of a shakeup in that department.
Yeah, we'll have to see if... Okay, there's the adaptation. No more Karthus for Sad. Karthus was a little too powerful. Now, Jeridu, last time their adaptation was the Cenaban, and there it is. So now, Stand Blue Devils, their first pick priority were things like the Lee Sin. I think they also locked in the Alistar as well, being the best support option after Rel.
I like the Alistar. I like the Alistar blind also as well. If you do want to go for something like that, you can also do something like a Thresh. That's a pretty safe champion to be blind picking, but we're seeing immediately that the Darius is going to be the blind pick champion, not even knowing what the matchup is. Andy really wanting to lock that one in the top lane. That's pretty surprising to me, Rafa.
You can say that again, Smacks.
It's pretty surprising to me, Rafa.
Not saying that Andy didn't perform well on Darius, but he didn't seem like the biggest factor in the game. They did have a disastrous level 1 that set him behind. He still had a better laning phase overall for Cryo Knight, despite being 2 kills down, about 20 CS up. Darius is still a powerful lane bully in his own right. Maybe Stand Blue Devils will try to answer and take away the Wukong off the table. But Rel and potentially Sion are being thought of here for Jeridu Gaming. They're going to pick it up. Oh.
Okay. Taking away the Vayne. That's a really nice champion to play against things like the Rel and the Sion. We saw just how much damage that champion can do to frontliners. All Jeridu have so far are those frontliners. So locking that one in here for Cody Dunn is going to be really powerful. And yeah, again, they do have this Darius, which is a very strong champion into Sion yet again. By the fact that it's being picked first, though, I feel like it might mean that Jesse Main can play this in the jungle. Perhaps that's what they're thinking about. But we don't actually know that for certain until later on. We do know, though, that Lulu has been selected here for the Blue Devils. This is a champion that, if you're keeping up with the collegiate scene especially, has been banned or picked really early on in just about every draft over there. So this champion's really strong in a lot of different roles.
It's even stronger on this patch as well, I think. Or I could be mistaken, but I thought I
They
saw
buffed
some...
it, yeah.
Okay, so there you go. There you go, Smacks. And finally, we actually see the Echo potentially blind pick for Jeridu Gaming, as Stand Blue Devils had banned out this Echo twice. Round 2 in game 1, and then round 1 in game... Round 2, game 1. Round 1, game 2. That's almost...
Carry the 2.
Yeah. I had to really think hard about that one. It felt like the... What is it? The Zach Galleon Facus GIF? Where he's got all the numbers like running through his mind. It's like, oh god. Stand Blue Devils, though. They take away the Wukong, recognizing that, hey, Crown Knight was pretty impactful on that champion. No more Cyclones for you, Buster.
Yep. Potentially locking in the Sion into that top lane matchup, too, as they did flex it to mid for Dennis. That certainly could still be the case. It could just be that the Echo is going in the jungle position for Sad. We've seen him play mages every single game so far, actually. The Morgana and then the Karthus. So Echo would fit right in with that repertoire of champions, more magic damage dealing champions right there. So that would not surprise me too much. What would surprise me is if the Lee Sin goes completely through this draft, as that's been prioritized very heavily up until this point, but not banned, not picked, and we're into phase 2.
Yeah, I'm curious because we've seen Lee Sin's destroy Darius's in the top lane in the 1v1. And I don't think Lee Sin was nerfed this patch at all. I could be mistaken. Nope. Okay, well, Lee Sin still a strong champion, but it doesn't seem like anyone is going to be going for it. Misfortune being locked in for Jerry Do. We're not going to acknowledge the hover smacks. I know your eyes. Oh,
no, we are actually. We are going to acknowledge the hover, Rafa, because it's been locked in. That's Fiddlesticks jungle right there for Jesse. You can't underestimate it, Rafa. This champion's been making waves recently. The team fights are so strong. It deals a lot of magic damage in that jungle. I'm liking this pick. I think it's pretty solid here for Jesse, and that's exactly what we're going to be getting in this one.
No, okay.
Oh, okay. It's Victor. It's Victor. We're not
My
going
heart was
too
about
wild
to drop.
Heimer.
If we got the Heimerdinger and the Fiddlesticks in the same game, man, oh man, it would have been too much, too much excitement. But Jaredu Gaming, now they are standing and facing off against a very scary Scarecrow that will be doing a lot of magic damage, providing a lot of team fighting utility, is weak in some skirmishing, in early skirmishes, can power farm pretty well, but against someone like an Echo, I haven't seen this jungle matchup, Smacks, and I hope you can forgive me for not knowing how this one plays out, because I never see these two champions, especially in the same room or in the same game against each other.
So Fiddlesticks has a really strong possibility of taking multiple camps at the same time.
Yeah.
With the Bountiful Harvest, the Drain on his W. If you are really strong at Fiddlesticks, you know exactly where the point is where you can stand to take all the camps at the same time. The most important one is the red buff and the Raptors at the same time. That's the really hard one to operate on, not just for Fiddlesticks, but champions like Morgana as well. So that's recently been prioritized a lot more heavily too, and I assume that's why Fiddlesticks is back in the meta, because people are locking in Morgana and Fiddlesticks is pretty similar. So if Jesse Main can go for that style of clear, he outpaces this Echo so heavily that he will be able to hit level 6 well before Sad in this game if he's using that Bountiful Harvest correctly. So I'm really excited to see if Jesse Main actually does do that in this game, and if he can actually have the leeway to do that, because if you look across the board, the Vayne Lulu lane's not going to provide you with that much priority. Most likely the Victor in the early stages of the game, he's a ranged champion into Sion, but the wave clear is not quite all there at that point. So for Jesse Main, he's going to really need to make sure that he's clearing all these camps at the same time, but also make sure that he's not getting invaded upon.
When you have someone like a Jace for Cryo Knight, you potentially could be fighting for that early priority necessary to invade and get some vision and intel on Jesse. More than likely, because this is a blue side stand in Blue Devils, should be seeing Jesse Main start on the bottom side of the map so that you can start up the Raptors and the red buff at the same time, as you noted, Smacks. And then Jesse, if they're able to perform the clear correctly, you are able to get through that first jungle clear very, very efficiently. But Cryo Knight, usually the time or the timer that you want to be pushing for priority and looking for intel is around that third wave, once the siege cannon minion, I should say, is stacked up. You got a nice push in. And then you have a substantial amount of time to go and look for a ward. And that usually is around the 3-minute mark, if I'm not mistaken, which is when Jesse should be showing up on that top side of the quadrant.
Especially if he skips out on the Krug camp, which you can do on Fiddlesticks. If you want to pressure that top side of the map, skipping Krugs is perfectly fine. If you do want to just go for full clear, you're going to want to go for the Krugs. So it's up to him. I feel like you could probably still make it to the top lane early if you are clearing very, very efficiently on Fiddlesticks, which is very difficult to do, but if Jesse Main's confident enough to lock this in a game 3 situation, I feel like that's exactly what we're going to be getting. But the real strength of this Fiddlesticks actually comes later on when you have that Crowstorm team fight damage, which other than that, Standard Blue Devils don't actually have a lot of that packed into this kit. They have a lot of they've got a lot of physical damage, but all of that is really just on one target at a time. Andy Main and Cody Dunn really want to hit the same person over and over and over to deal as much damage as possible. So for the team fights, it is mostly going to be on this Fiddlesticks, on Jesse Main, to get that rolling, because if you look across the board, you're up against Misfortune Rel. These two ultimates can be so brutal to have to play up against if you're stacking up as your entire team. So team fights are going to be really important for this Fiddlesticks champion. But yeah, we talked about this champion a lot. It's because it's not very often you see it.
It's
also
cool
because the name is so funny. It's called Fiddlesticks. So we're going to talk about it.
It's kind of like a pirate term. If I'm like Fiddlesticks, Fiddle me timbers. I think there's actually a pirate themed skin for
yes, there
Fiddlesticks
is.
as well. You know, with the new jungle changes, actually, Smacks, I think there's a potential jungle path change, or kind of like theory crafting, that I want to tell you about. And we've seen it a couple times even in prior patches, but I think it could be something that Jesse Main on this Fiddlesticks could look into if you want to avoid any typical timers where the top lane comes in checking for intel. So you start off with red raptors, right? You do those. You should be finishing around the before the 2-minute mark. If you skip wolves because it's only one camp, and you actually just go straight over to blue and Gromp instead, and you do those two, you'll hit level 3 off of it, because that's 4 camps total. And you accelerate. You get another point into, or you'll be able to get all 3 points into your abilities, and then from there you're sitting, what I would imagine, if you do this correctly, around the 2-minute 30 mark, maybe 2:40, and so you have a little bit of time to like make a delayed level 3 gank onto the top side of the map, or if you want to do a gank into mid lane, and then and just cross back over into your bottom side if you're going to try to accelerate this bottom lane ahead versus focusing on the top side of the map. Just because being able to open up your jungle path opportunities versus just doing the standard full clear, starting one side of the map to the other side, can be very predictable. And as we've seen from both of these players and junglers today in particular, they're both very smart. They're both very intelligent. So being able to shift up how your jungle pathing can be in the early game can open up strategical opportunities to catch the enemy by surprise.
Yeah, there's just so many different options, especially when the new patches just come in. So tons of creativity to be had and shared around the community as well. As there's just a lot of different things that you can do with that jungle position. That's why they change it all the time, because you always gotta keep everyone on their toes. And that one, as soon as it gets solved, you know something else is on the way. This time it's in the form of the smite changes and the experience changes. So yeah, I'm excited to see how these two players can operate in this one as well, especially on these AP junglers, which haven't really been in the meta all that much recently. But I mean, Sad's making it work on the Karthus, and we got to see the Trundle come in too. So we're already getting a huge meta shakeup just in this series alone. Can't wait to see the rest of 11.10 as we get even more games on that.
Game 3. The moment you've been waiting for, ladies and gentlemen, finally arrived. It is the decider between Stanton Blue Devils and Jerry Do Gaming. On the blue side, defending champions. Okay, hold that point. No more interest, Max, because we got 5 people walking into the bush, and Jesse Main already saying, yikes!
Get me out of there. I do not want a part of that level 1 at all. Can't blame him. Tons of crowd control. Bunch of health bars just running you down. That is not the place to be if you are Jesse Main on this Fiddlesticks. He's going to place a defensive control ward, and it actually looks like he's going to start up on this top side. Ooh. With the Fiddlesticks clear. This is not what either of us expected, I would say, but it actually does let him arrive on the bottom lane earlier, and it allows him to more easily fit in the Krugs into his clear, which I really appreciate.
Curious to see if Jerry Do Gaming suspect this or can read this movement.
Going quiet. We're back.
Hello, hello.
Sorry about that.
We temporary disconnection was a little spooky at first, but we're back.
Yes. Ready to talk about some League of Legends. Where were we, Robin? Oh, yes. We were talking about Jesse Main's Fiddlesticks clear.
So I think what he actually did, I think he started Wolves because I saw that he was tanking between blue buff and Gromp at the same time, and he just hit his third camp. So I would imagine that he did. Oh. It's okay. It'll refresh back as long as the red buff doesn't reset. That's the dream. If the Raptors reset, it's whatever. Usually by the time you finish red buff, you also finish Raptors at the same time. So.
This is what I was talking about, though. It's so tricky to find the fine-tuned location to do this on Fiddlesticks, and other junglers as well who like to do the exact same thing. You can see that it refreshed yet again, but no matter. You're not under threat of dying on this champion at all. See this really nice gank pattern here from Sad. He's on a ward. It still work, though.
But a huge wave. Gonna get the stun down. It should be enough damage between the both of them. Sad might have to flash. Oh.
Doesn't have it.
Oh, he already used it.
It is a return kill from Andy. The apprehend in the final hour is enough to keep himself alive, but yeah, still is a nice first blood over there for Sad. We get to watch this one again. You can see Sad actually flashes to get in range of the stun, but then, yeah, it's a really nice pullback. No!
Third shot's hurt, Max, but that, I think, in the grand scheme of things, for Cryo Knight, that is a death that you're willing to take. Because against Andy Main, who is running Ghost and Flash on Darius, doesn't have teleport to get back to the lane, and he lost out on a ton of gold, ton of XP. It's only been marginalized by the fact that Sad does give the returning kill over, thanks to the bleed and the turret shots, but Cryo Knight, hopefully for their sake, gets a lot off of that advantage. But Jesse, making an appearance on the bottom side of the map, says, I'm a cat. You better get out.
Andy's got a visitor yet again here, Rafa. Sad is up in the top lane. Get the slow.
They got the passive proc down and Cryo. Between both him and Sad, have enough damage to be able to take down Andy once again. And this wave, I believe, is slow pushing back. Meanwhile, more action on the bottom side of the map. Hoodie just gets wiped out. Eviscerated, if I should say so myself. Cody done trying to equalize back onto I'm a Cat, but he walks out safely. And Jerry Do Gaming off to quite a hell of a start.
Uh-oh, Jesse has arrived. He has a lot of crowd control. He's got a silence, but he's been knocked up.
Fear comes out.
Healing. Woo!
Woo! The execute on the end cast of that Bountiful Harvest. Quite a punch. It seemed like I'm a Cat was going to walk out, and then suddenly, bloop.
All right, we get a replay of this topside play yet again. Sad. He really does not want Andy Main to have any fun when he's playing Darius. This has been true of 2 games in a row now. And just like you said before we looked over at this bot side play, the wave is really, really doomed up there as well. It's in a perfect position to deny Darius so much CS. He's up there again.
Man! Oh my goodness.
Can't even finish the point. He's dead again to another gank. Sad is bullying him.
Yeah, well, you know what, Smax? This is we've seen a lot of Jace play, actually, throughout Proving Grounds and even in NA over the course of LCS. And I know this is just a high school championship, but this is the best use of Jace strategy and gameplay, because if you have a Jace on your team, you have to spam camp him. You gotta put so much resources into making sure that this Jace gets off the ground. As hold that point, Hoodie having to flash out. Can't say the same about Jesse Main. Bobitos takes him out. Teleport comes in from Cryonite as well. But you know, as we were saying, Smacks, like, in order for this Jace to really get off the ground and rolling, you can't just rely on Jace being a quote-unquote strong laner, especially against the Darius. You gotta put the other enemy laner in the dirt. And if that takes 3-4 ganks, if that requires your jungler setting up a tent to just temporarily come back to every time he's up on the map, I mean, so be it.
It's not even just that, Rafa. It's doing this against Darius, who is a laning champion. His later game teamfights are not nearly as strong as other top laners that are available. And the bot side, too, we're seeing all these fights are going down.
Oh,
Bobitos.
one more!
Oh!
Holy cow. Cody Dunn is done with the stuff that Bobitos and Amacat are throwing back at them the entire laning phase.
Yeah, Bobitos has flash during this play, but does not think that he needs to use it. Unfortunately, Vayne's final hour provides her with so much movement speed that she's able to move around so quickly, not to mention the Berserker's Greaves that Cody Dunn was able to purchase before coming back to lane. So Bobitos learns the hard way that he should have flashed in that exchange. Does go down, but you know, even despite that, we're seeing a really big advantage across all of the game here for JerryDo, and the momentum off of winning the second game seems to have carried over into this game as well. They seem to be at an all-time high for morale and just focus on what needs to get done in a game like this. We're already seeing a huge advantage of topside. We saw earlier that Bobitos was able to stifle the Drake take from Jesse Main, take that one for JerryDo, and 2 more kills on this Misfortune as well. He was just killed in the bot lane 2v2, so Cody Dunn is contrary to his name, not done with this series. But Bobitos still has a really big advantage, and he's going to be really powerful on one item too, because he's going for the Lethality Misfortune build.
Between Bobitos and Cryonite, they're going to be both invested into strong armor penetration items. And it makes sense, because for stand-up Blue Devils, they don't really have any tanks. So even if you invest a little bit into the wayside of steel-plated caps, a Bramble Vest for Andy Main, you still don't have a substantial amount of armor to be able to deal with these lethality-based builds for Cryonite and Bobitos. So strong mid-games are going to be coming through JerryDo Gaming, but we cannot ignore the scaling factor that is present for stand-up Blue Devils.
Really can't. Fiddlesticks teamfights are going to be pretty wild. Maybe even Fiddlesticks ganks, as Jesse Main is level 6, has access to the Crow Storm. Unfortunately, though, there is that giant wall in the middle of him and the enemies, so really tricky to traverse over that. Still going to try, though. Get a ganks.
Uh-oh, Return's got nowhere to run. He gets routed off by the Unstoppable Onslaught, and the Parallel Convergence catches him on the edge of the stun. Sad, because GM, once again, no Karthus this time around, but now we see a reason why the Echo probably was banned the first 2 games.
Yeah. This is one of those death recaps where it says, you were in a fight for 3.81 seconds, and you were crowd-controlled for 3.81 seconds. There's nothing you could have possibly done. There's a Rift Herald mid lane, too. They're going to take all of this gold in the mid lane as well. They're extending this lead every single lane right now. This is such a difference from the game 1 that we saw, Rafa. JerryDo are playing this so calculated, and it's working on all fronts. They don't even need the Blue Devils to die into them 3 times at level 1. They're still winning without that.
Strong early game for JerryDo Gaming, and even negating powerful champions like Darius here, as well as
Oh boy.
Uh-oh.
Jump scare.
Jump scare! Oh, well, it's sad because, GM, here's a jump scare of your own. That's not enough damage to take down Jesse anytime soon.
That's a tragic side effect of Fiddlesticks having an AoE drain. If you are in the zone, even if he can't see you, will still apply the drain to you, as Sad learns the very sad way in that bush right there. He was trying to get the jump scare, but yeah, just a little unfortunate there. Doesn't even get the flash out of Jesse, just to walk away. He actually gets to farm up this top side.
That was cute. Crown Knight trying to put damage back into Jesse, and he's like, okay, let me just lifesteal it all up. Finally, once the Bountiful Harvest disconnected from the minions, Crown Knight was actually able to put some harass. But Jesse soaking up a minion wave for Andy while he was walking back from base. The CS lead is still quite disastrous for Andy.
All of the carry members of Jerry Do now have their mythics online at 12 minutes. All of them. This is insane right now. They're going to start up on the dragon. There's no way that you can contest this at all. They already have all the mythic items. That's so much extra power just in the items alone before they even attack you. To steal that one away under the noses of the Blue Devils. 4,500 is the name of the gold lead. And just looks like it's going to grow from here on out. We're already sitting with the mid lane turrets dead. There's still some plates to be had. Cryo Knight has a gigantic advantage up in that top side, and even though Sad hasn't really made any returns as of late, still has that possibility up there. There's not a whole lot that Andy Main can do unless he lands a really nice heal on the Q, but it's been so tricky for him to do that, not just in this game, but in the last one also.
For Jerry Do Gaming, like we said before, the mid game, these one-item power spikes, as you already pointed out, mythics being completed is where Jerry Do really need to hop off in terms of lead. They need to find and create opportunities where they can drive home the advantage that they already have. But for Stand and Blue Devils, despite this massive CS gap in the top side, considerably a little bit in the jungle as well, they're holding strong on the bottom half of the map.
Oh boy. Oh, Andy. Get stunned. Oh, man. Sad is really good at this echo, man. This is really shocking. I mean, I don't know why I'm shocked, honestly. He played the Karthus so well, but this is very impressive.
Echo's a fun champion, man. And I remember there was a period of time where Echo used to be like the best jungler in the game. Like almost kind of a hidden best solo queue jungler, I think near the end of last year. Because I know Resork for Misfits was playing it a lot with that Nashor's Tooth. He's doing it again! There's no way he can get away with it the second time, but Jesse with the counter gank says, "Kaka, I'm here! Surprise!" He's able to answer back, gets a nice shutdown on the Sad.
Yeah, that was a really valuable shutdown right there. Sad had his ultimate, but was just feared the entire time by the Crow Storm. Excellent use of that ability to keep his mid laner safe. We're going to get a replay. Oh, we're going to get a replay of Andy, too. We're going to bully him even further. Oh, man.
I mean, this was well coordinated, too. Parallel convergence stun.
Really nice.
Accelerated shock blast from downtown. Beautiful stuff.
And Cryo backs away, just baiting him to think that he's safe. Couldn't be further from the truth. There's an echo in the bush.
Indeed. They swapped lanes here, Smacks. They sent Dennis the Menace into this top side. He does have that Sunfire cape, so I don't think, even though that Andy no longer has to deal with Cryo Knight, I think it's still kind of difficult for him to deal with this lane. But yes, we get the other replay.
Yeah, he does check the bush with the laser, but that's not the thing that saves him. It's the flash, and then the combination of that with Jesse.
Whoa, whoa, whoa,
Jesse
whoa,
actually
whoa,
attempted
whoa.
this.
What is going on here? We got a brawl in the bottom side of the jungle. Cody Dunn already erasing on the cat off the map into the thick of the fight. Melee range against Cryo Knight, but he's going to go down. Not before taking Cryo Knight's life. Bobitos is able to answer back, though. Now he's got double buffs. Does he want to run into turret and take his chances against Hoodie? But this is a lose.
I think
Kind of difficult. Oh, you would take this, Max? You
I
go
would.
for it?
I would do
Oh.
it. Just doing
Oh,
it a little
wait.
bit right there.
Oh,
There's an
okay.
echo.
Well, he's got sad. Okay. This could be easier now that you have another party member to assist in the dive.
I think Hoodie is just waiting for his doom right now.
He's dancing back and forth like, please,
Yeah.
please.
It's one of those moments where you just kind of hit Control 3 and dance around. You know the inevitable is about to occur. Oh, the crowd control layering.
My God.
Dennis! I can see why they're giving him Scion so much. I think he's the best Scion on the team. I mean, I can't even say that. We haven't seen anyone else play the Scion. Maybe he's the worst Scion on the team, and the worst is yet to come.
Oh man.
Either way.
If Dennis is the worst Scion on the team, I don't want to see everyone else's Scion, man. That's
scary.
terrifying.
Yeah, Dennis is crushing it up there. This is against a champion that is supposed to counter him.
Well, to be fair, he is 2 levels above Andy, thanks
This is
to
true.
Sad giving Andy the direst treatment for any TSM fans knows what I'm talking about. Jesse, does he have Pro Storm? Yes, he does. He's gonna go
does.
for it.
There it is.
Okay. Unfortunately, it's not enough. Sad is able to steal or secure the dragon away. Jesse
Wait.
is buying a lot of time with the Bountiful Harvest, but it's not enough. Jerry Gaming pick up the second dragon of the game, or actually, I think that was the third
one.
dragon of the game. Oh,
Yeah.
Well, you know what, Max? This is so far the most decisive game from the entire series. Jerry Gaming have a 7,000 gold lead, are on Soul Point, and they have so many kills across the board on all their carries.
It's brutal. The only thing that's going well for the Blue Devils is this Vayne here for Cody Dunn. And by going well, I do mean that this is a very good news to have very good piece of news to have on your team. Vayne with three kills, a Lulu as well to bolster that. I would want that Vayne on my team. However, even saying that, I would much rather be on Jerry Dew's squad right now, if I'm being completely honest. They are super, super ahead. Bobitos gets another kill right there. They're on Soul Point. That's a Serpent's Fang now for Bobitos. Really good purchase here to deal with the shielding from Hoodie. I like that item a lot.
There's quite a substantial amount of shielding as well from Return of Buy whenever he gets the empowered Q as well.
Very true.
So, man.
I love that item so much.
Smacks and I are Serpent's Fang apologists or enthusiasts. What word is better here?
Apologist is for people who defend something that is like not really worth defending usually.
Oh,
but
I
this
see.
item is good, so
Okay,
enthusiast is better here.
Okay, I do enjoy that.
Oh my god.
If he had been able to get the third proc, I think Return was dead right there.
Yeah, that's the Lichbane power right there. Just barely not enough there. Oh, Cody.
Cody, Dios mío, run, baby, run! And now the teleport's coming in hot. Crowd Knight following it up with the Accelerated Shock Blast and Hammer to the skies, raining down onto Andy's Parade. Takes down the top laner for Blue Devils. And they are just going to march it forward, finding Hoodie out, forcing him to flash over the wall. And they are just continuing this devastation down the mid lanes, Max.
You said it before, Rafa. Decisive is what this game has been. They're not even done. They've killed
Jesus.
Return under the turret. They're going to get the inhibitor turret in 20 minutes. They don't even need the Baron right there. There's a Crow Storm behind him, though.
Okay, silence on the 3 members. Jesse able to help assist in 1 kill onto Bobitos, but it's still 4 members strong against 3. Cody Dunn walking the final hour. Goes a little too far forward, though. I'm a cat, popping him like a balloon.
That's going to be the
The
full
inhibitor will
inhibitor
fall.
turret. Oh, yeah. They're not
they're
even
gonna
done,
end
Rafa.
it right here, right now. Not even 21 minutes yet.
Whoa.
They find Andy. The damage, the burst. Jerry Do Gaming, they know they're strong at this moment right here, right now. They're not taking any chances. They are going to close out Game 3 if they have a chance. Nexus turret's about to fall. But wait a second. Return. Does he have enough damage in the back pocket? Wall growth giving him a little bit of HP, but just sad. Sad because GM is just too damn strong. And Jerry Do Gaming have taken down the defending champions in Stand and Blue Devils here, Smacks.
2 minutes ago, all the inhibitor turrets were alive and well. Where'd they go? They just killed everything and everyone at the same time. The reverse sweep. Oh, that was the fastest game by a mile. It was almost half the time of the other two games. 21 minutes in. Oh my word. I mean, we said it a bunch of times. That was the decisive game from Jerry too.
Smacks, I know you're losing your words right now, and I'm with you there, buddy. I'm with you there. Congratulations to Jerry Do Gaming for not only continuing their undefeated streak of sets. It was their first loss in the game 1, but it's okay. They came back with the reverse sweep. They took down the defending champions from fall 2020 in Stanton Blue Devils. And it's not to say that Blue Devils were a bunch of pushovers. They fought hard, and especially in the game 1, how well they were able to construct that victory for themselves. It's huge for Jerry Do Gaming to be able to make that victory even sweeter. And so, Smacks, this does mean that JDG will be moving on into the bracket. We'll have to keep... We're not entirely sure how the rest of the matches will be playing out for the bracket, but we'll be getting more information on that when we return for tomorrow, ladies and gentlemen. Same time as always, 4 p.m. ET, here on twitch.tv/playversus for the Play vs. Spring 21 High School Championship. Name is Rafa, and we got Smacks. We'll be seeing you guys all throughout the week over the next 7 days. Hope you liked our faces. You're going to be seeing more of us as we cover more awesome Zoomer action here with the championship. Thank you for watching. Have a good day.